And I'll be honest, that is every husband's nightmare. Is that when your wife dies, she doesn't end up with you. She ends up with some guy she had a 3-day tryst with on a boat, on a cruise. And all of a sudden, she's transported back to that free pizza and burgers, laying out by the pool, reading magazines, and nailing this random dude in a small cabin of a cruise ship, the HMS Pinafore. And that's her heaven. And you're sitting there by yourself like, where's my wife?
I'm waiting for you.
Did she didn't choose me?
Yeah, so what I really liked about Titanic was the part at the end and when she's on the boat.
Yeah, like when she's on the boat or when she's off the boat.
When she's on the boat.
So we were listening to a bunch of podcasts recently, and we realized I think this will help our numbers if we talk with vocal fry.
Yeah, you
because
think so?
they're all talking a very low, like everything's frying out all the time. So maybe that's what we need to do.
To be fair, it's the end of the summer, man. We're spent. I have no more vocal energy to expend.
So tired.
Oh my gosh, listeners.
The end of the summer. Rach has been such a whiny little child. Petulant child. I've worked all summer like a normal human being.
Sorry to those of you 9-to-5ers out there.
I still work in education. I work in higher education where the fun never ends. Where the fun never ends. But now, Rach is like having to go back to school. She had to go back to school, listen to this, by herself. So she had a week where it was just like her like doing her thing, you know, she's like getting stuff ready. It's not implying that you didn't work hard.
Oh, I worked.
I know you did. But still, it's not like you had kids running around. You didn't have any other colleagues even in the building. It was just like you and construction workers who are putting AC in and stuff. And Rach was such a whiny little kid about it. It's like, oh, I don't even want to go to die.
I know. Teachers, educators, you feel me, right? We've got the Sunday blues hard. School year is starting. Parents, I'm sure you could not be more excited to get your little cherubs, get them out of the house and back to a structured environment. I hear that. I support that. Yeah. I think we're all in this together, and it's our turn. I feel rested. I had an amazing summer. Ty, how was your summer?
My summer was actually tremendous.
Yeah, tremendous.
Yeah, because even though I work still 40 hours a week, it slows down in the summer too. So like I felt very lax as well in the admission world. And so yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. We went to Ireland.
Oh.
We went to the lake a few times. We potted from the lake even, as our listeners who listen to the whole season know. It was a great summer.
It really was. And you know what? It's going to be a great fall too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think the listeners will miss us for very long? Like if you had to guess.
No, I don't think we'll be missed.
I didn't mean like
I wouldn't miss us.
How much loved are we? I just mean like, do you think we'll be back before they know it?
Oh, I think so. I think if we do what we typically do and jump in with a little Halloween special, maybe a little spooky special.
This is Halloween.
Then yeah, that's going to be here in no time. We were just talking about our weeks of travel in October and what we're doing. So honestly, hun, we have to get that one in the can like tonight.
The Halloween one?
Yeah, we're so busy.
Yeah, I think one of our movies we were going to watch and we were going to pot about, I just realized this right now, we're planning to go see it on Halloween night right now.
Oh, yeah.
Which will be a problem because we want to release that before Halloween. So we're going to have to talk about that.
Yeah.
But just know, we have Halloween episodes in the works. I think we'll be around.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple times.
So, listeners, if you have time in the meantime, if you're not caught up and you just kind of jumped around to your favorites, love that for you. But go back, go listen to a few, finish out this series. We'll be here soon.
It was a very fun season. Like, I thought every movie brought up extreme feelings out of one or both of us. And it was just, it was fun. I don't know if we've ever disagreed so much in a season, though.
Oh, if we were going to just look at a season-by-season basis.
If you're just looking at our percentages and you're looking at the average difference of our scores, in a season, I don't think we've ever been this far apart.
Oh, I'm sure somebody could do the math on this pretty quickly.
You gave Total Recall like a single-digit %. Like, that was crazy.
Was it a wee bit harsh, maybe?
Yeah, I would say it was
Maybe.
extremely harsh.
But that movie just left me speechless. I didn't know which way was up or down.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It was just a mess.
Speaking of whether things are up or down, what a segue.
Are you segueing?
I don't know. I feel like maybe we should. That's a good opportunity.
I'm going to take you up on that segue. Ty, what did we watch for our final episode for this season?
We watched a movie that, I'll be honest, I had seen.
Yeah, explain yourself.
Yes. So I went to this movie we determined it was 5th grade.
Yeah, 5th grade came out.
My mom and I, this movie had been out forever, and it had just been rocking and rolling, kind of like Top Gun this summer, where it's just like we're 3 months in, and everybody's still going to this movie and talking about box office charts and it breaking records, which I think Top Gun actually beat it just recently. But I mean, also charged $13 per ticket instead of $6. So like, did it really beat it? I don't know if it did.
We'll find out.
But so this movie was just around forever, and everybody was talking about it, and finally my mom was like, "Hey, should we go see Titanic?" And I was like, yeah, I think we should.
Wow.
So we went and saw the movie Titanic. That's our movie this week.
Okay.
And I was really late to the game. Like, everybody was talking about it. Mm-hmm. And then I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is the movie. Saw some chi-chis. That was not a regular occurrence for me at that time. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, I can't believe your mom took you in the theater to see this. This
Well,
was rated R.
This was such a huge movie, though.
I know, but it was
Think
rated
about the
R.
box office part. Like, it was breaking all these records. Everybody's talking about it being one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah.
Of course I had to go to the theater and see it. My dad was out of town at that point, so it's just Mom and I, like, get Trev a babysitter. We're going to Titanic, baby. Like, yeah, let's do it, Mom.
I love that. Oh, I'm so jealous. I didn't get to see it in the movie
You
theater.
did not see it in the theater?
No, I can't go to a rated R movie, Ty. I was 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 11. I don't remember what age 5th graders are.
Yeah, you were 10.
Yeah.
You were about to turn 11.
Yeah. So, no, I had to wait until my best friend got it on VHS.
Double VHS.
This movie is so long, it needed 2 VHSs to fill up the awesomeness.
Along with other classic movies like Ben-Hur, Lawrence of Arabia,
Gone with the Wind.
10 Commandments.
Those are also on 2 VHS.
So. I don't know about 10 Commandments, to be honest, but the other 2, I know Lawrence of Arabia and Ben-Hur both were.
Wow.
And
Well, we'll come back to
and
Ben-Hur,
Gone with the
so
Wind.
hold that in your head.
Ooh, I'll keep that knocked in. The only other modern movie that we had that was a 2 VHSer was your boy's one of his top movies of all time, Braveheart.
Yeah, I was like, where are you going with this?
Oh, yeah.
Your boys.
And I'm sure, like, the Lord of the Rings movies were too, but...
Yeah, but by that time, did we have VHSs still? Or
I
had
got
we been
Fellowship
moving?
on VHS.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and
that was
then...
a VHSer, huh?
Yeah, but not Two Towers and Return of the King. Those are all on DVD. And then we had Fellowship on DVD as well.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
that helps. Yeah, I'm super jealous you got to see this in the theater. So since then, have you ever watched it again? Or
Just like tiny clips.
Sure, when
like
it's been on TV.
Sometimes you would watch snippets of it, and so like I would. Yeah, it's been on the TV a couple times.
Oh.
And very short.
Guilty.
Very short snippets, like 10 minutes, 15 minuters. Not even more than that. Not more than 15.
Yeah.
So no, I had not seen it in its completion until this time, and actually forgot about some things, like
what?
Like I forgot
like
about
it sinks in the end?
No, I forgot about the whole beginning.
Oh, how they lay it out.
I remembered Old Rose.
Yeah.
And I remember Old Rose and her necklace and how it floats to the bottom. Sorry, spoiler alert. But like, I did not remember how, like, I didn't remember Bill Paxton.
Yes.
And the sea diving crew. I was like, oh yeah, these D-bags are all like talking for like the first 15 minutes of the movie. And I literally could care less about them. Like Bill Paxton comes across like such a D-turd. And they all do. They're all so annoying. The script is horrible in the first part of the movie. I was like, get me to the boat now.
It's true.
I
You're
was
just
so annoyed.
Aching for Titanic.
I was like, I know how long this movie is. I know what parts I like. Get me to that frickin' boat and away from these assholes now.
Tell us, Rose.
It's been 84 years.
It's okay. Just try to remember anything at all.
Do you want to hear this or not, Mr. Lovett? It's been 84 years, and I can still smell the fresh paint. The china had never been used. The sheets had never been slept in. Titanic was called the ship of dreams. And it was. It really was.
In the off chance that someone's not seen this film,
Yeah.
either, because they wanted to or because they had to ironically see it to know what to make fun of, Ty, do you want to give us just a quick little synopsis and kind of lay out, like you said, like how the film is structured, so that way we can kind of understand what it is you're talking about when you say Old Rose, like who?
Sure.
What's that about?
Yep. So Bill Paxton and his crew of idiots, they're all like looking through Titanic on their little robot machines, trying to find some the jewel of the ocean. Is that what it is? It's a big blue.
First off, it's shaped like a
heart.
Heart
of the ocean.
Heart of the ocean.
Okay, so the heart of the ocean is a big blue sapphire, really, but they're gonna pretend it's a diamond, a blue diamond, which I don't know if that makes sense. You'd have to tell me, scientist.
It's supposed to be a diamond.
Okay.
But
Yep.
it's a sapphire in real life.
Okay, yeah,
but
for
it's
sure.
supposed to be a rare blue diamond.
Oh, very fancy. Sounds like something on my Batman comics. So, so they dig out this old painting from this safe that they think is going to have the heart of the ocean in it. And it's got this naked picture that Leo had drawn of Kate Winslet back in the day. And they're like, who's this hot naked lady? And then this old lady's gardening, and she's like, oh my gosh, there's my naked body right there. And so then she calls in and she's like, hey, that's me naked. Please stop showing that to the millions of people. That's not really what happens, but that's what should have happened.
You get the idea.
But she comes to the boat where they're like doing these excavations, and she's transported back in time, telling them the story of everything. Old Rose transported back and remembers how this 3-day adventure went down, and she's like, oh my gosh, this was the craziest 3 days of my life. I fell in love so hard with Jack.
That's crazy. It is only 3 days.
And you know what? You want to know what's funny?
What?
We make fun of Romeo and Juliet for
That's
how
in
fast
one
they
day,
fall in
right?
love. No. Nope.
How long is that? A week?
Yep.
But that's like beginning
You could
to end.
argue, you can make arguments that there's gaps of time that it could be up to 2 weeks.
Well, yeah.
But if you make it on the short end, it's 5 days in Romeo and Juliet. And here in Titanic, it's 3 days.
But
3 days.
He gets banished within that 5 days. So, like, honestly, like, their whole,
you're right.
like, the high of the high is probably happens, 3 days? And then...
Yeah.
And then he's...
Yep.
Has to leave the next morning?
Yeah, I mean, they fall in love right away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Instant.
But I'm just telling you,
Yeah.
if you want to make fun of Romeo and Juliet, you better make fun of Titanic.
To be fair.
Because it was less time than Romeo and Juliet. And so I don't want to hear anybody making fun of R&J if they're not going to throw Titanic in the mix.
Who would make fun of R&J?
Everybody does. Everybody says those kids are dumb. They fell in love so fast. They're idiots. Titanic, baby.
You
Same thing.
forget what it was like. Like, you feel the feels. And in R&J's defense, James Cameron pitched this movie like an R&J on the Titanic.
Well, he nailed it then.
That's what it is.
If that was his concept, he freaking nailed it. I just don't want to hear people make fun of R&J if they're not going to make fun of Titanic.
Hey, you won't hear anything from the studio audience.
Yeah. Next time I hear it, I'm going to be like, do you like Titanic? And I'm going to get people. I'm going to get them. I'm in a gotcha mood.
Gotcha. I cut you off on your
No, that's okay,
synopsis.
because that's pretty much it. They fall in love, and then they run around a boat and have adventures, and then the boat sinks. You know what's going to happen. And then Rose is like, yeah, so I still have that necklace, but I'm not going to tell you, but I'm going to throw it in the water. That's pretty much the movie.
And scene. 3 hours.
Oh, and then she dies, and instead of going to her husband that she had kids with and like lived her whole life with, nope, she's transported back to the Titanic to Jack, who she knew for 3 days and lost her virginity to. That's who she wants to end her life with. That's her heaven. And I'll be honest, that is every husband's nightmare. is that when your wife dies, she doesn't end up with you. She ends up with some guy she had a 3-day tryst with on a boat, on a cruise, and all of a sudden she's transported back to that free pizza and burgers, laying out by the pool, reading magazines, and nailing this random dude in a small cabin of a cruise ship, the HMS Pinafore, and that's her heaven. And you're sitting there by yourself, like, where's my wife?
I'm waiting for you.
Did she not? She didn't choose me.
Oh my gosh. Somebody should do a movie about that.
I want to know about that guy's story.
Yeah. Like, let's talk about his heaven.
Yeah.
What's there? What's that all about?
Well, she's not. I'll tell you that much. She's not there.
So crazy. Wow, we're already getting like so philosophical with this, which is great.
I'll be honest.
I love this.
That ending really stuck with me.
I
was
forgot
like,
about that ending.
What?
I like that you kind of just jumped ahead and assumed that she died, because people often ask, like, well, what is that? Is that a dream that she's just having? Or like, does she die?
She died in that bed.
As an
they
old
show her
lady
sleeping in that bed.
Yeah, I know. But like, they're like, is she sleeping or did she die?
Now, I will say this. If she's not old enough that she could ride a helicopter for a long extended period of time to this boat, then she wasn't in poor health. So if she does die, I would question, like, why? Why did she die already?
Oh, because she let the heart go, Ty.
Yeah, I know.
She
and that was
allowed herself to die. It's like The Notebook. It's like we're gonna will ourselves. Like,
how
I'm here.
Beautiful.
I'm back with my love. My love is like hundreds of feet below me.
My 3-day love, yeah.
And here I can let go now. I've
Yep.
been holding on to this. I can rest.
Yep.
In peace.
And what about her husband?
But what about him?
What
And
about
she
Mr. Rose?
She never told him about
Jack.
Nope.
Yeah. What a bunch of horse shit.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, she was
A
an
lot of
actress, so she probably was married like 5 times. She was an actress in the 20s. So, like, we can't put that past her. Like, if that happened in the 1910s, we'll give her 10 years to get her career going. Throughout the whole roaring 20s, she was rocking. So, she probably had at least 8 husbands.
Yeah. I didn't remember hearing this, but do you remember hearing in the movie where she ends up, like, moving with her husband and living?
No. Oh, she lives in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Cedar Rapids, Iowa! Are you
Which
kidding?
I also thought, you just said she was an actress.
Yeah.
She did not move to Cedar Rapids, Iowa if
Maybe
she's an
after
actress.
she was done, maybe she acted first and then she met a husband and then they got hitched and she had babies, and then, you know you can't act after you have babies. Especially then.
That's a good point.
So,
That's a good point.
Just funny. So she went to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and Jack Dawson is from
Wisconsin, Chippewa Falls, the home of Line and Hugels.
Shout
A
out to
great beer. Honey Vice, great. Some Shandy's great.
So it's fun because they kind of end up back to where they probably would have.
Yeah.
Similarly, had Jack and her gotten off the boat.
Sure. Because
Maybe.
was she from New York?
I would imagine.
Back. Her fiance's from New York, or he's like Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He's got a Pittsburgh business that's going to give him
Steel, I believe.
Pittsburgh Steel.
Oh yeah.
Going to make him tons of money, and then I didn't know where she was from. Obviously not Belfast, but they're all over in Europe.
No, she was She talks about it returning home to America. So I think she had gone over maybe for school or maybe for I don't know.
Why is her mom there?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Why
school.
is her fiance there?
You know what?
Everybody's
Actually,
over there.
no, it's not school because there's a line that her mom says, like, well, Rose, you go to college to get a husband, and Rose already has that, so why would she need to go to college?
Oh, okay.
So she's got kind of, maybe they just went touring, and
Went
she
to
had a
Europe for the
boyfriend, and
summer.
her boyfriend took her over. They bought a bunch of art, and now they're coming back, and now it's like, oh, no, now I've got to put up or shut up.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
They do talk about a different boat. So they probably came over on that other boat because she's like, I like this other boat. And he's like, this boat's way bigger. What are you talking about, babe? This is crazy.
oh, good old Billy Zane.
Yeah, Billy Zane, whose dialect work I did not understand until I looked up some stuff about where's this character even freaking from?
Oh, yeah.
Because it was
Did you
like,
think he was like British
I thought he
or
was
something?
trying to do British at first,
Oh,
and then
no.
he talked about the Pittsburgh Steel stuff. I was like, okay, so he's an American upper class person in the early 1900s. This makes a little more sense now.
Sure.
It was just weird. It was like this weird amalgamation of American and high class British. I was like, what's
What do you
going
think
on?
about her too? I mean, she has a great American accent, but there's also it's a heightened American accent,
Which makes
when
sense
she's
for
talking.
her because
Yeah.
she's British. Yeah.
Yeah. Some fun taglines.
Oh, yeah.
We're just gonna start you off with taglines. Nothing on earth could come between them, except for an iceberg.
Yep, except for...
Or do you like Collide with Destiny.
Ooh, collide with destiny. Collide. You and I collide.
Yeah, why wasn't that the main song for this?
That's what I wanted to see when he's floating to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, forever changed. Forever changed. Oh, all right. So, director and writer James Cameron. Ty, have you heard of James Cameron?
Oh, I've
before?
heard a little something about James Cameron. Avatar
Mm-hmm.
and Terminator 2.
Yeah, T2.
Yep.
Aliens? Was he a part of Aliens in some
Oh, okay.
capacity?
He did one of
Maybe
them.
he did some
I don't remember if
writing
he
or
did
something.
Alien or Aliens. He did one of them.
Okay.
And then it was Ridley Scott for the other one. I think he did Aliens, the second one, the action-y one, which is really fun.
With a Z.
You wish.
Aliens.
What's your favorite James Cameron movie?
Probably this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Terminator 2, easy. Not even a question.
I mean, T2 is good. T2 is highly rated. Wait for it. I like T2 better than I like Avatar. That's crazy.
Yeah, because if you didn't, you're a weirdo.
I don't know. I think I might be in the minority there.
No way. Those kids haven't seen T2 then.
So, James Cameron, as you can imagine, is obsessed with shipwrecks.
Yeah?
Yeah. I would imagine that he just gets his little claws into something and he's like, oh, wow, I'm really into this right now.
I think he just loves destroying stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think that's who he is. Him and Michael Bay probably sit around and they're like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if a roller coaster crumbled? Oh, yeah, that'd be really cool. How cool would it be if a plane flew into a boat and it blew up? I'm like, yeah, that's really cool too, buddy.
Love that. Let's hold on to that and explore that later. That's
Okay.
fun.
Yep.
He went to an IMAX film about Titanic.
Uh-huh.
And it was a documentary. And watching the footage of it, he was like, this is it. It's time. It's been long enough.
Mm-hmm.
We've had movies before about Titanic, but not nearly as gritty or as accurate as like a lot of previous films have shown Titanic just kind of like slowly gliding into the water, never cracking.
Yeah.
And in
Never
half.
historically, like, telling
Yeah,
the
not
story of its
accurate.
demise.
Yeah, and he just thought like, I will do that. I will take that upon myself, and I will be the one to tell this story.
My first IMAX movie was a polar bear movie, and I
Oh.
had the same idea in 4th grade. I was like, I think I can make this into a feature. Should they talk or not? That was my big debate. I was trying to figure out.
We don't
do
have
they
a good
talk?
polar
Do they
bear
not?
movie, do we? I think we have like Happy Feet.
I'll be
like,
honest,
Penguin movie.
I can't think of one good polar bear movie. The closest thing are the Coke commercials at Christmas.
Wow.
That's
I
it.
mean, and honestly, you could hit some pretty, topical areas with global warming,
Them
things
eating
like that.
seals,
Yeah.
chasing seals down. Yeah. There's a lot of fun stories to be told.
It could be
Trying
a
to
real
eat the little ones
heartbreaker.
because the winter's really bad. Yeah.
Honestly, nothing's worse than watching a polar bear and her cubs on ice floating in the middle of nowhere.
Like, okay, I watched this big male polar bear chase after a mama and her babies, and
Oh.
literally they're going like glacier to glacier, like, and then swimming in between, and then they're running after each other forever. And luckily, it was a National Geographic, and they showed
cut
a
away-
mom and the
cut away.
kids getting away.
Oh,
no, I think
God.
they did escape, according to them, but they might be saving us as an audience. Be like, yeah, they didn't make it.
I love Discovery Channel and Nat Geo so much, but there are times when it gets a little too real for me,
Yeah.
and I can't handle it. I cannot. Just the natural circle of life doesn't sit well with me.
Sure.
I
yeah.
can't watch.
Yeah.
So, like I said, James Cameron had this idea. He wanted to do Titanic. And so how he pitched it was a Romeo and Juliet on Titanic. Now, the production companies were like, yeah, but like, what's that going to cost us? And he's like, I mean, yeah, I want to do it well. I want to do it really well. Will this be the most expensive movie ever made at this time? Yeah. But
Duh.
are we doing it or are we doing it?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I imagine him just being like, Spielberg Jurassic Park. Look at you spent a lot of money on that.
Exactly.
Look how good it did.
Exactly.
That's how good my movie's gonna do.
Those were examples. Until this time, Jurassic Park was the movie that had been spent the most money on.
Sure.
That had the largest budget.
Yeah.
This took 2 producing companies
Okay.
to make.
Yep.
One of them, Paramount
Yep.
took care of North America, the distribution there.
Okay.
And then 20th Century Fox took care of international distribution.
Wow.
So they had to split the cost of this because it was so massive that not one company could take it on.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you want to just throw out, I guess we'll get into
How
more
much
of
it
the
costs?
budget, but I think it's important to know at the beginning, like,
Yeah.
what we're working with here money-wise.
Yep. I'm going to say at the time,
Yeah.
because obviously for inflation, this would be like way more. I'm going to say, though, it cost $200 million.
You are on the nose.
Yeah?
$200 million.
Yeah.
$200 million.
Hot diggity dog.
Hot dog.
Boom, 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 boom.
Do you want to know how much it cost to make the Titanic? The actual boat?
Oh, the actual boat?
Yeah.
Okay, in the 1910s. We just went to the Titanic Museum, so I should have an
I will
answer.
adjust you for inflation. I've got both numbers.
Oh, okay. So I
Don't
can
you
do
worry.
like how much it would cost now?
Yeah.
$200 million.
A little less. 180 if we're adjusting for
Oh.
inflation. At the time, it was $7 million.
Okay.
So everyone likes to say, like, yeah, the movie costs more to make than the boat. And you're right. You're right in both accounts, even when we adjust for inflation. Accurate.
Yeah. Yep. Very cool.
So we've got a giant paycheck coming our way. So with that, James Cameron says, I want to go see it. I'm going to see this boat. I'm going to spend 2 years, and we're going to go down and get actual footage of Titanic, just like the IMAX movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So he pretty much was well, gosh, what's his name? I was going to call him Bill Pullman, but
Bill Paxton?
Bill Paxton. He
Yes.
pretty much was Bill Paxton.
Yes,
in this
minus the
movie.
treasure hunting, but yes.
Yeah.
But still treasure
You
hunting.
still have the earring and the long sideburns and the gross long hair.
I don't know if that's. I don't think that's James Cameron's look. I think he's a little nerdier looking.
Yeah, he
He's a little
is.
bit more like plain Jane
He's
looking.
kind of tall though.
Yeah, he's kind of a tall, slender guy.
Yep.
Yeah, a little goatee and little bleach blonde hair on top.
Yep. That's what I remember.
At least that's what I see. He's very scruffy in all of these on the footage from Titanic, but
Sure.
we'll get into that too. So 2 years of taking footage and going down. Initially he spent more time with Titanic than the actual passengers did. That's how much time he spent filming and getting footage of it. A little bit of damage was caused to Titanic because they went
Oh.
down so many times and
Yep.
like kind of bumped it in a few spots. The captain's quarters collapsed.
Oh, James.
Yeah, oops.
So were they sitting in robots like they do in the
yeah,
movie?
yeah,
Okay.
just like in the movie, they have those kind of like
Yeah,
those
yep.
little Wally-looking underwater Wallies.
Yeah.
And then also the area around the grand staircase didn't collapse, but things in that were kind of damaged too, with
They knocked
things
into him.
getting in and out. So,
Those little assholes.
so 2 years, over the course of 2 years, they went down 12 times
Mm-hmm.
to get footage and to get everything just precise, as you can imagine.
Yeah. Did they put that vase down there? Or not vase, sorry, the safe down there for the movie?
Oh, I bet some of that stuff wasn't shot. I think the stateroom things, like when they're really getting
No,
into
that
the
was-
Wally stuff, is
They
probably in a
placed
tank.
it. They brought it down. They had a little Wally set one up, and they're like, "Okay, we have him back up. Now have him go forward and grab that safe again."
That's a really good question. I think most of the outer footage of Titanic is Titanic, and some of the inside stuff as well too. But I think when you're getting really specific in like when they go into like the stateroom, the treasure hunters in the movie, and they get the safe out, I don't think that actually happened in Titanic.
Okay.
But I don't know because honestly,
They spent so much
it
money.
wouldn't
Why
surprise
not?
me. We have 200 mil. What the hell are we doing?
Yeah, let's throw it around a little bit.
So he spends about 6 months researching Titanic and writing the script. And while he's doing that, he's also having a lot of historical experts come
wait.
and read.
He spent 6 months writing the script?
6 months.
Okay.
Does that show?
No.
Oh.
No, it doesn't.
I thought that was a short amount of time to write a script. I don't know how long it takes to write a script, but 6 months while you're researching something. Like, it's not just the writing, but like
Yeah.
you're researching Titanic. I think that sounds pretty fast.
I would say he could have spent more time on the script.
I would say
I thought his dialogue
agree.
was pretty weak sauce.
I cannot wait to give you some of these reviews.
Yes,
Because
please.
you're gonna love some of these. But yeah, you think about like, Hamilton and how long it took Lin-Manuel to write that, like with 7 years, 12 years,
Yeah.
something like that. Like
Yeah, it took a long time.
an insane amount of time, right? But it's a masterpiece.
Yeah. Yep.
So like this, I mean, obviously he'd been working on it for a while, but the writing of the script took 6 months.
Very nice.
Yeah. It's all,
Just
it's all
Romeo and
relative.
Juliet on a boat, baby.
That's it. Stuff writes itself.
Don't.
All right, we're going to come back to the building of the set and all those things. Unless you want to go there prior to casting. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go next in our Titanic journey?
I'd actually like to save casting. Let's do set first.
Yeah, let's get down to the set. Okay,
Yep.
so the boat.
Yeah.
Harlan and Wolf. Ty, who are Harlan and Wolf?
Okay, I know we just went. Oh, okay. Here's one thing. Rach goes, oh man, I feel like every kid was just obsessed with the Titanic at some point.
Yeah,
And I was
we
like,
all go, everyone hear me out on this. We all go through a time period where we get like a little into Titanic and we start researching it. Maybe we do like a project in school over it. And maybe it had everything or nothing to do with this film.
yeah.
Maybe.
So here's what I'll say. I never had that face.
You didn't have a Titanic face.
No, I appreciate the Titanic Museum in Belfast. I thought it was glorious. I thought it was lovely. It was huge. Longest museum I've been to since the Louvre. Like, it's like
ginormous.
crazy.
Yeah, really.
But I never went through that Titanic phase.
Yeah, okay.
I don't have a strong urge to retain information from the Titanic. I don't. It's a big deal. You know what I care about more?
Huh.
The Lusitania. That sunk because it started
'cause it's
World War I.
You're all about the wars.
I know, and I'm a history guy, but I hate to say it. The Titanic was not like a major historical moment in the sense that it didn't change anything. All that changed was they put more lifeboats on boats after that. Like, they were like, hey, we got to put more lifeboats on here because a lot of people died last time.
Yeah,
And
I hear
so, I don't know. And then they were also more cautious about like when they would travel and stuff like
Sure.
that. But as far as like just in general, I don't remember a lot.
It's It's a fascinating story of just like hubris and classes and just I don't know. I think that's what for me is so intriguing about it.
Sure.
And it's just this tragic event that happens, made all the more tragic by human error and flaws and ego, and yeah, oh man, it gets me.
Yeah.
It gets me every time.
Well, that's cool.
Titanic.
So you're gonna have to tell me. So
all right, Harlan and Wolf.
Harlan and Wolf
is the company in
they
Belfast
built the
that
boat.
built it. Harlan
Yep.
and Wolf shared with James Cameron the original blueprints that they had that were
Oh.
thought to be lost.
Those little sneaky devils.
Hey, those are lying around here somewhere.
Ooh, look, James, I found something for you.
All right, the RMS Titanic. Do you know what RMS stands for?
Nope.
It stands for, yes,
Royal Majesty's ship.
You're so close. You have two of the
I
three
know.
words
I know. I have
correctly.
I know. I have ship right.
Royal Mail Ship.
Oh.
Royal Mail Ship.
Okay.
Yeah, RMS. All the boats have RMS
And
ahead of
what
them.
does HMS stand for? Highness's mail ship?
I guess I don't know. Great question. That's for you to Google.
Yeah. Okay. I will find that out, but not enough now because I don't care that
Yeah,
much.
absolutely. So we set up production. We go down to Mexico and Playas de Rosito, and we buy 40 acres of waterfront because that's where we're going to build this behemoth of a boat/movie.
Okay.
Not
This,
only-
it filmed in Mexico, just like
Filmed
Total
in
Recall,
Mexico.
your other favorite movie.
Just like Total Recall. All in Mexico. All great things.
Wow.
All great films come from Mexico.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. They also build what's called a horizon tank. Have you ever heard of what a horizon tank is?
No, I have no idea.
It's a giant tank that you build, and it's up kind of off of the water. And so it allows you to film and have it look like you're on a horizon. Like, so on all like 270 degrees sides of the boat,
Yeah.
you can look like you're out to sea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When we were watching this, I was looking pretty closely for the real effects and
Yeah.
the CGI, and I think
Did you see the dolphins?
the dolphins were
Those
there.
were real.
I'm sure they were
Those
real.
are trained dolphins. Those CGI dolphins from 2000 or 90.
They were not CGI. I think
Those dolphins were fake for sure.
no, they weren't.
Yeah, they were.
Hun, I think you think there are more things that are CGI in this than are.
No, what I'm telling you is go back and look at the dolphins. Those are CGI.
I'll Google it.
Those are CGI.
It's unlike
They look like
Cameron.
little like cartoon dolphins, like we're in like an old movie, Mary Poppins. Like we've got.
Yeah, you say
cartoon
that, but dolphins swim alongside of boats all the time when
No,
boats
I
go
hear
out.
you, but those are CGI dolphins.
We're gonna Google. The Google will tell us. Don't you Google it now? I
No,
have things to tell you about a boat.
I'm listening to your boat stuff.
All right. So the exterior of the ship was built to scale.
Yeah, CG dolphin shots.
Oh, dang
We
it.
created the dolphins, had to make it look like they were under the water leading the ship.
Oh, man.
They look so fake.
I can't believe you had to do that. I just gave you a really big I gave you a huge tidbit here, and you didn't even hear it. I knew you were listening. You're
But
too
I
busy
got you with the
on
dolphins.
proving me wrong.
Fake ass dolphins.
I thought they looked real. All right, so maybe some things were CGI'd that I thought were real and vice versa.
Can you say your cool fact again?
Yeah, would you like to hear it?
Yeah, I'm ready to listen.
The exterior of the ship
Yes.
was built to scale.
Oh, so it's really, wow, that's huge.
Now,
Because at the Titanic Museum, you see like how big the museum is, which is almost the scale of the
it's
Titanic.
huge. It's huge.
That's really big.
Yeah, that's just the museum is just as tall as Titanic is.
Yeah.
It's not as long as Titanic goes all the way out. It's like a skyscraper put on its side.
Yep.
There were parts of the ship that were removed so that it could fit inside this giant Horizon tank. They were some of the more like redundant pieces.
Oh, so when you say, so the Horizon is like painted on along the outside of the boat?
No, it's a tank of water that's up out of the water.
Uh-huh.
So that way, when you look at it, you just see water. You don't
But
see
you'd
ship
still
and
have to-
shoreline or anything.
But you'd still have to get far enough away from the shore, wouldn't you, in order to do it? Or is this built on land?
No, I mean, this is actually built on a hydraulic lift. The
Yeah.
boat is.
Okay. Okay, on the shore.
You're going to
not
try
in
to
the
ask me
water.
about the science of a Horizon tank, and I'm going to have to stop you right there. I don't know much more of that. You're going to have to look at pictures for yourself to see it, because I can't really explain it other than it's just an incredible amount of space and time and money that went into creating this, like, almost life-size set.
Okay.
Now, there's a couple of things. So, like I said, some of the... while it was built to scale, not the entire ship was built.
Mm-hmm.
There were some parts that were redundant that were taken out.
Sure.
And then those were filled in with digital models or CGI. The lifeboats and the funnels were actually shrunken 10%. So they could fit a little bit easier on there. So they were not to scale, but 10% less than what they were before.
Oh, yeah,
which is huge.
That's smart. Go with smaller lifeboats. Did we not learn our lesson from the real Titanic? We're not only going to make it accurate and put the same amount, but we're going to make them a little smaller. 10% less. What's that? If there's 60% boats, 6 more of you people die. Way to go, Cameron.
We're willing to take that risk. The boat deck and A deck were both working sets, so people could come in and out of those. Everything was like where it needed to be. But then the rest of the ship, the exterior was just steel plating, obviously. So it's not a real boat that can it's just like
float.
it's a facade, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The ship, like we said before, was on a hydraulic jack, meaning that it could be tilted 60 degrees. So when you see the boat tilted like that, that's the real boat tilted like that.
When they tilted it, do you know, did they add the sound of in post? Or did it really make that noise? The creaky boat noise.
I'm sure those were edited later, hence all the awards it won for that.
Very cool.
It won the Oscar for creaky boat noises. I don't know if you knew that it was up for that.
What else was it up against? That's so cool.
That's so cool. So not only could the whole boat tip 60 degrees, I'm showing Ty what 60 degrees is here. It's like so. But the poop deck. Ty, where's the poop deck at?
That's on the bottom?
That's on the back. Yes, the back side of the boat, on the bottom of the boat.
Okay, here's another thing you need to know about me. As a kid, I love boating, but I didn't love boats. Like, I didn't study boats. You know, there's those weird kids who are over there like,
Oh, I love it. This is starboard. This is the other side. And oh, look at the poop deck.
like, I didn't care about any of that stuff. I was like, get out of here, stupid kid. Check out this tank. Check out these fighter planes. So I was never a big boat guy.
Yes, so the boat, or the poop deck, is the back of the boat.
Yep.
And the back of the boat was able to lift on a hinge, and it could go all the way up to 90 degrees. So similar at the very end of it, where it's up on the way in the sky like that. It could do that. So again, Cameron wanted that because he didn't want this to be like the smooth sinking of the Titanic that had always been showed. He wanted to show it being more chaotic and terrifying, and I think mission accomplished.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, he definitely accomplished his mission.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spoil my thoughts on that sinking section.
Sure.
We'll save that.
Okay.
But yeah.
Cool. Inside of boat?
Sure.
inside a boat. So the interior rooms were reproduced almost exactly like the original boat.
Mm-hmm.
So down to the carpet, furniture, plates, upholstery, anything that had like the White Star Line decal on it was put
Yep.
there by artisans to make it look as original as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Funny, the engine room, they wanted to really show off just how massive these engines were.
Yep.
So the stuntmen that they had in this engine room could not be taller than 5 foot.
Whoa, those guys were all short?
Yeah, they're all short.
I
They
wouldn't have
wanted
guessed
him,
that.
Not the boiler room where they're putting in
Oh,
the
not
coal.
the coal area.
No, not the coal room. There's a couple of scenes where there's these giant
Turbines that are-
Turbines,
yep.
There's in the turbine room. They're just kind
Yes.
of going and going. And
Yeah,
they're so
and you
massive.
can see a couple dudes like standing by these huge things that
yeah.
are going.
Yeah, and those were on another boat, but that boat did not have exactly the same like massiveness as Titanic's were. They were big, but
So
not
they're
near
like,
big. So we
hey,
need
we
to
need a
do an
couple
optical
shorties.
illusion here
Yep.
to show
A couple
just
of Danny
how big.
DeVitos to show the size on this one.
Precisely.
Okay. Okay.
A little bit more movie magic on the inside. So the grand staircase, that was all made to look like the original. A lot of iconic scenes on the grand staircase.
Yep.
But the first class lounge, which I can't remember which scenes took place in that one, but that was actually filmed as a miniature.
Okay.
And then what they did was they took the filming of the miniature and they made it on a green screen. So then the actor sat in front of that for the scenes that happened in the first
to
class
make it look
lounge.
bigger.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just because I think the
So,
detail would have been insane.
Is that like the dinner area?
I
or
don't
like...
think that's the. I think that would be the dining room, and so it's not
Oh,
the.
okay.
It's not the grand staircase.
Yep.
It's not the
dining
dinner
area right next to
So
it.
it's the lounge area, which would be like
Where everybody's just hanging?
chairs and like the smoking area,
Oh,
maybe.
Okay. All right.
I don't think a lot of things happened there, and so I think that's why you didn't have to build it to scale because
Sure,
like you
yep.
just need it for like
Stand in front of
a
the
little
screen
bit.
and you're fine.
Yeah.
Yep,
This is
okay.
we're gonna blur this out here in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did with that is when they go to have Titanic sink, they crush it, and then they film it being crushed
Oh,
so
okay.
that they're able to use that. Flooding scenes,
Mm-hmm.
those were real flooding scenes of the actual set, and they had to be one take because you're ruining your set.
Yeah, for sure.
So when
Yep.
you put the water on, it's like, all right, did we get everything we needed?
Yep.
Because we're about to wash this whole baby out.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder if that was super sad for the scenic designers. If they're like,
oh, I bet.
I spent forever messing with that sculpture right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and now you're just going to flood it and destroy it, you little dickhead, James Cameron. I wonder if that really hurt, you know?
I mean, probably. But again, I think that leans back to Titanic itself. It was like this giant ship of beauty, and then it just like it's just so sad. It just became nothing.
Sure.
3 days. You're gonna hear a lot of like my inner Titanic girl coming out.
Yeah,
Like,
I really hear
put
it.
this movie like aside and put like the love story aside. The theme of Titanic, the boat, this was a really
Gosh.
good pick for me. It's just bringing up old like memories of me like really delving into
It's
this
so
topic.
crazy, guys. Like, it feels like I loved volcanoes as a kid. It's like if we were like watching a volcano movie, that I maybe would be like, "Oh man, I freaking love volcanoes, bro." And Rach is like, "I just am geeking out about Titanic." That's so interesting.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I feel a little shamed because I'm this history guy, and like the Titanic just doesn't interest me that much.
You
And
can't
so
be interested in everything in history.
yeah, I
That's-
suppose,
that
but I
makes
should at least
sense.
know more about it. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
suppose.
But I just like can't get that interested in boats.
Yeah, that could be.
It's
I
just
mean,
the Lusitania.
it's like me and like certain personality tests. Like, you know, you do like a Rorschach ink block test. Like that doesn't interest me because I don't think that's all that relevant.
Oh, sure.
you
yeah,
know,
from
like,
the psych
well, like,
world.
well, that psychology is like, yeah, that was a piece of it back
Yeah.
in the day, but
Yeah.
that's not what it is now.
Sure. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
You know, you don't have to love everything about your big topic passion.
Yeah.
You can pick and choose. You can be
Okay.
choosy.
Okay, very cool.
But
Thanks.
I think
Thanks
you
for that.
chose poorly.
Well, I just know you've got me covered in trivia. For Titanic.
For Titanic, I got you, girl.
I probably am just like, I don't need to know any of this. My wife will always remember.
Yeah, let it go. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay. Clean up some space. Hey, if you ever need anything about the Viking invasions right now, like, I got you, girl.
Okay.
I got you.
You got me good.
Yeah.
I know you do.
Yep.
All right, let's get into a little bit of casting, and then we can jump to some shenanigans on set, etc. More about James Cameron and what a crazy guy he is.
Okay.
Cool?
Yeah.
Do you want to start with Kate or Leo? I'll let you decide.
Let's start with Leo.
Okay. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yep.
How old do you think he is in this?
Okay. So I don't know filmography if this is correct or not, but this is what I remember.
Yeah.
I remember seeing him in What's Eating Gilbert Grape like a
Correct.
couple years before this.
Correct.
And I want to say he was like 15 at the time. So I'm going to say that he's like 18.
He is 21.
Oh, I'm way off. Dang
Yeah,
it.
I mean, not way off, but yeah, you are off. The character of Jack Dawson is supposed to be 20 years old, so
Okay.
he is about
It's too
that
old.
age. Is it too old?
They should have said, Leo, I'm sorry, you've aged out of it.
Well, and you were right, too, filmography-wise. He had done Gilbert Grape at this point. He had done Growing Pains, which is where I first saw him. That was a
Okay.
TV show.
Yep.
Show me that smile again. Don't waste another minute on your crying. Do you know this song?
No.
Sing it if you know it.
I never watched Growing Pains. Rach has some weird TV that she watched as a kid. Like, I was watching the cool stuff, like
It was
Seventh
on the
Heaven
Disney
and
Channel.
Malcolm in the Middle. And Rach was over there watching Growing Pains and Wonder Years. I'm like, what? Who are you?
I don't know.
Did you watch Step by Step? Did you
Yeah,
watch
of course I
Full
did. Of
House?
course.
The Dinosaurs? Did you watch any of these?
My mom didn't really like the dinosaurs.
I understand. My mom didn't like it either.
It was kind of like Simpsons. It was like you're not
Yeah.
not old enough to watch that.
Well, because your mom probably came in at the worst part. It's
Yeah.
probably like one time where he's like, Dad, you're a bastard. And then your mom's like, oh, ick.
Yeah.
And then you're like, Mom, I swear that's the first cuss word they've said all night.
Turn it.
Turn it off. It's gross.
He at this point had also done Basketball Diaries and what are you laughing?
Just
Have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh.
I just try to imagine what that movie's about.
I-
Dear Diary, today I made the basketball team. Tomorrow we face our great rival.
I'll be honest. I don't think I have not seen it, but I think it's about suicide. I think it's pretty dark.
Oh, that sounds crazy.
I think it's a pretty dark movie.
Basketball Diaries.
Yeah. At least he looks super moody on the cover, so who knows?
Oh, okay.
I might just be guessing. Someone's like, that's not what it's like at all. And he had also the year before done Romeo and Juliet.
He did R&J before this?
Yeah, that was that was released in 96. So unless that just got done faster, because this was released in 97, which is possible.
It is possible,
I
yeah.
didn't do that.
No,
good of
that's
digging,
okay.
But that was
all that
released
matters
before
is the
this.
release date.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I thought that came out like later in our childhood.
Yeah, I kind of thought so too.
But okay, so he was already a
they're a
big
year
deal if
apart.
he did R&J before.
Oh yeah, they like to call this like peak Leo mania.
When did he do The Beach?
The Beach after this, I think.
Okay, that movie's horrible. I think
don't know that
he
movie.
won a Razzie for it, or the movie won a Razzie or something.
Sure,
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, probably like right before he had like a streak in the 2000s where he just did a movie every year, and they're big movies. It's like Catch Me If You Can.
Yes,
and
yep,
I
yep.
can't think of any others, but it was like movie.
Sure,
It's like,
Aviator, Blood Diamond.
Yes,
Yep,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
right. He was around for a
Go,
long
go,
time
go.
with that. Yep.
So he was 21 years old. Listen to some of the could have beens.
Okay.
It's the casting for both of them is a real who's who. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I couldn't even tease out who was just considered and who auditioned. I have some of that, but if you know somebody in Hollywood around this time,
They're
they
probably
were
in
they
it.
were considered for
Yeah.
this role. But some of the big ones. Matthew McConaughey,
Okay.
yes, was considered for Jack.
All right.
they
I
thought-
don't
Yeah.
know what he had done besides Dazed at this point.
That's a really good point. I don't know either. A young Matthew. Too old is
Yeah.
how Cameron felt at
Yep,
this point
for
for
sure.
him. This is kind of an interesting one. Jeremy Sisto, he is in the movie Clueless. He plays Elton.
So he's the tall guy. No.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah,
guy
he's
who
taller.
like wants to be with Cher, but she's like, no, you want to be with Ty.
Yes. So
Elton.
was Robert Downey Jr.'s biggest rival, if you remember that.
Oh, that's right.
Yep, they're like huge rivals back in the
Yes,
day.
Yes. So both McConaughey and Jeremy Sisto both read with Kate
Okay.
for this. She said reading with Matthew was exhilarating and like a crazy experience.
Oh, I bet. He's a wild man.
Yeah, and she was, I think, being like really polite. She's like, yeah, it was crazy.
Well, can you imagine? He's like, yeah, I'm from Wisconsin. Like we gotta do things down there. Like he has that Texan accent that comes out all the time. I don't even understand how it could be possible.
Impossible.
They have to change the story.
Tom Cruise wanted too much money.
Cruise? No.
Yeah.
He's way too old.
Mm-hmm.
He would have been like 40.
And short.
Honestly, Minority Report was
He
an
would have been
01.
40.
Cruise?
You think so? You think
I
he's that
think
old?
Cruise would have been like late 30s at this point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. But I know I
I
don't.
don't know. I'll be honest. You look at Cruise and you look at DiCaprio right now. Cruise looks way better.
Yeah, you're not
Age-wise.
wrong. You're not
like
wrong.
smoking.
Okay, you keep going. I'm gonna do a
All
tiny
right.
bit of research.
This is for the audience since Ty's no longer listening. So other people who are also considered, and maybe they read, maybe they didn't. Johnny Depp.
13-year age gap between him and Leo. He was 34.
You always do this. I get the first fact out.
Johnny
and then
Depp.
you interrupt.
Boo, boo, Johnny. He would have been awful.
He would have been awful. We've got Christian Bale, Brad Pitt,
Okay.
and Chris O'Donnell were also considered.
Yeah, Brad Pitt would have been too old too. He's not that much younger than Cruise.
No, you're right.
He would have been in his 30s too. Like, no, that's too old for this character.
What do you think about Chris O'Donnell?
You're gonna have to remind me who Chris O'Donnell is.
Robin.
Okay, that's who I thought it was, but I didn't want to look like
Which
sound like an
wouldn't have
idiot.
happened had he done it, because I think that came out the same
Joel
year.
Schumacher's
I'm
like,
sure.
I need him for bat nipples. His nips are perfect.
Oh, but the kicker, the one that is like, oh, that one actually kind of got away.
Paul Rudd.
No. Oh, that's really sweet. The original person who James Cameron had in his mind when he was writing this.
Yeah.
Can you guess? It's kind of a tragic thing.
Oh, River Phoenix. He would have been, oh my God, that's incredible you said that.
Yeah.
No joke, in my mind, I thought like, Leo, here's what I'm going to say about Leo. This is one of Leo's best performances.
Oh, interesting.
I know you think that's interesting. He doesn't yell and get crazy like he usually does, except for going, Rose, 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 Rose. Besides that,
I love my critiques.
besides that, like I actually think his acting is not terrible in it. He's kind of subdued. He's a subdued Leo,
Yeah.
which is nice because Leo then gets really crazy like down the road and annoys the piss out of me as an actor.
Sure.
Like his Leo-isms are so annoying. But I thought when I was watching it, I was like, we just talked last episode about River Phoenix, what a big star he was going to be. He would have been perfect for this. Like that no joke came into my mind during the movie last night.
That's amazing.
He would have been fantastic.
I know.
I love River Phoenix. He's so good.
I know, and you're right. He would have been.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
perfect.
who-
and he had
who
the
can
long
say?
hair. He had the Leo hair in Crusader.
Yeah, he did.
So he already would have been ready for this. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
going to part my hair. So pretty.
Well, that got me too. I thought like, oh man, and I watched this at a very important age in my life, so
Oh,
this
I'm
meant a lot
sure.
to me seeing Leo. But
I'm sure the stirrings were wild in
stirrings
this
were
movie.
abundant.
Yep. VHS 2, I need a break. I need an intermission. I'm very warm.
jeez, I'm very warm.
I've got fuzzies everywhere.
Butterflies in my tummy. But I think as an adult watching it back and putting River Phoenix in that could have been something special.
Yeah. Yep.
Something like,
Yeah.
Academy special. I think.
I agree
So,
with you.
yeah.
I think it would have made the movie
Even better.
a notch
Even
above.
more perfect.
Yeah. 11 out of 10.
He did not want the role.
River didn't?
No, Ty River died.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at that. Leo did
Leo
not want it.
didn't want the
Why?
role. He didn't want
It's
it.
like, dude, the beach is coming up. I gotta get ready for the beach.
Well, if you kind of hear the things that he has done up to this point, he's kind of more of like an indie kid. Like he hasn't done a lot of blockbustery
Well,
films.
R&J, and so
Yeah,
I wonder if
But
he
that
was
also
like,
kind of Boz
so,
Luhrmann's crazy.
So I'm going from R&J to doing R&J on a boat. Like I
Yeah.
should see him also being like, it's the same character.
Yeah, I think he thought it was a little bit of a sellout. And I think, to be honest, he sounds like a little pretentious for being a
not
21-year-old to
shocking
be
at all.
like, I'm a very serious artist and I only do serious art, and that is, I cannot be a part of this $200 million film. That was just not good for me right now.
That's like Al Pacino in the Godfather movies. I don't know if you remember, he was like that. He's like, yeah, I'm like a big actor now, so like I'm not really feeling Godfather 2. So I'm sure he was a little dick about it. Yeah.
So he was recommended by a casting agent, and Cameron saw him, and they're like, yeah, I think this kid could be it. So he had him read the romantic scene, and he said he read it once, but then he started to goof around, and Cameron says I couldn't get him to focus again, but for that one split second, he said, a light came down from the heavens and lit up the forest. And so then to convince Leo, he said, hey, I know you're a serious actor. I'm going to make this guy brooding and neurotic. I'm going to give him like a tick and a limp, all the things that you want.
That's so funny because it reminds me of the young actors I went to school with who were like, yeah, so I'm going to talk with my lips sticking out for this role because that's new and interesting. I'm a real actor. I was like, come on. How about you just show a mirror up to nature and be a human being on stage that people can relate to, not like you have a boot lip and you have this little limp from this war injury in my past biography. I was like, get out of here. You think you're a real actor and you're an idiot.
Woo, you just schooled 21-year-old Leo. You just put him in his place.
It's such a young actor thing, though.
It is. It's like you want to take yourself so seriously, and part of it's like, hey, bud, just relax. Do the work. It's fine.
Yeah.
If you're a good enough actor, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Relax.
Yep.
Relax about it. Cameron was kind of looking for a Jimmy Stewart type for this role.
He did not get that.
Yeah.
He missed on his goal. That Leo
so.
is as far away from Jimmy Stewart as you could almost get. That is a bizarre thing.
Yeah, but
to
that's
say.
the type that he was looking for.
Well,
That's how when he wrote it, he wanted a Jimmy Stewart type.
He whiffed it.
But I don't know that River Phoenix is a Jimmy Stewart type.
No, he's not. He's not.
Yeah.
To me, he got a poor man's River Phoenix is what he got.
Yeah.
That's really the character that he ended up casting.
I don't disagree. I wonder if Leo's heard that before.
That you're a poor man's River Phoenix?
I have. Honestly, like, ouch.
Well, here's what I'll say.
But really.
Although I'm not the biggest Leo fan, I hope he's never heard that in an interview because that's very hurtful.
Yeah,
Hey,
in
has
a lot
anybody
of
ever
ways.
told you you're a poor man's River Phoenix?
It's true.
Like, what the hell does that mean?
Excuse you? So that was Leo's side of it. You want to go to Kate?
Yes.
All right.
So it sounds like Kate got cast before Leo. If she was already reading with McConaughey and reading with these other guys.
Yeah, honestly.
Or was it just their pairings?
I
or
think it
random
was
pairs?
just their pairings. I think it happened about the same time because I feel like she had to do some convincing to him to do it. To Leo. Yeah.
Okay.
In an interview, she said, like, hey, I know, like, we've both done a lot of, like, indie stuff, but I think we can make this great. I think you and I together, like, you're a good actor. I'll learn. Or, like, she's awesome, Kate. And everything we're going to talk about Kate is great.
Well, we talk about Winslet. Just to reiterate, we both think Winslet is tier 1.
Oh, yeah. She's a tier 1.
She's a tier 1 actress,
for
top
sure.
tier of all time. She's fantastic. I would say this movie is nothing special for her catalog, but she's still good in it.
Yeah.
But
But I agree. When you're looking at all the work that she's done, her acting in this it's fine,
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
just
not
fine.
like it's not what it can be and
Sure.
what it has been.
Yep.
Up until this point, she has done a couple of films. Sense and Sensibility, she had already done, which
Yep.
was a big one
Yep.
for her, and then also her Hamlet.
Oh, she had done the Kenneth Branagh Hamlet already?
She had done it before this.
Wow, and Rach is going to watch that soon. That is my favorite Hamlet, and she is tremendous as Ophelia. She's really good, Rach. You're going to love her.
Yeah, she had to be pretty young when she did that.
Yeah, and they have sex scenes in that. That's one of the fun things about that Hamlet. I know you laugh.
Why that's your favorite?
I know you laugh about it, but it's like the characters are more connected because there's like there's these little moments of like intimacy that they have that are throughout the play, and so they're actually not just like, yeah, I'm betrothed to Hamlet. And he's like, yeah, she's okay. Like it's not like that. No, they're like in love with each other and
raises the
sneaking away and
stakes.
having sex and like having passionate moments because they love each other. So then their demise is way more tragic.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you're gonna love her.
height. I know that already. When this first comes out, she's 19 years old. And so when they're filming, she's actually 20 years old.
Okay.
So she had already done that. So yeah, she has to
Wait,
be
Hamlet comes out, she's 19? They're filming and she's 20 for this?
they're filming when she's 20 for this, but she's auditioning when she's 19.
Oh, when she's auditioning.
Yeah,
okay.
when she's trying to, and she wanted this role bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got a hold of Cameron's phone number and just like, you're crazy not to cast me in this. I am this role. Like, you need to cast me in this. I will make you so proud. And he's like, yeah. And she sent him a rose. She sent him a rose and a card that said, "From your rose."
No way.
She
How
did.
presumptuous.
She did.
Well, she was really playing hard, though.
She
and it worked for her.
campaigned hard for this. And she openly admits, like, yeah, I went over the top, but like I didn't have anything to lose. Like, I wanted it so bad.
Okay, so this is a weird thing to say. Having been on in the casting chair,
Yeah.
when you know somebody really wants something, you do kind of root for them extra.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're like, oh, I hope it's just easy and that they're coming and they're just the best. But then if it's close, you're like, but so-and-so wants it so bad. I think they're going to work their ass off.
Yeah.
And that convinces you. You're like, even if you're like starting to lean towards one other person, you're like, but so-and-so wants it so bad. They're going to work so hard. Okay, I'm going to give it to them.
Yeah, well, especially if you know what a grueling process this is going to be. This is not easy filmmaking. This is, we'll get into some horror stories. So
Sure.
I think a part of it was also him like wanting to cover his ass. Like, I want somebody who's going to like go the distance.
Yeah. Yep.
And I need that person to like be committed like I am committed to this film. But I think, I mean, she had her work cut out for her. If you want to hear the long, long list.
Absolutely.
Do you want to just name an actress and I'll tell you thumbs up or thumbs
Alicia
down?
Silverstone.
Oh, no.
Demi Moore.
No. I think you're thinking
Nicole
like
Kidman.
yes, Nicole Kidman.
Ah, got one.
You got one. Good job. We also had in the running
Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon.
Yes. Cameron Diaz.
Yes.
Yes, nailing it.
You're doing great.
That's all I've got.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, of course.
Claire Danes, which would have been
Yes.
weird because
Weird
they
to see
just
those two
did.
together again.
They just did R&J.
Yeah.
Winona Ryder.
Okay. She's not stealing stuff yet. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Angelina Jolie
No, way too old. Like, no.
and Gina Davis.
Gina's too old.
She
She
was too
couldn't
old
be
too.
it. Like,
You're right.
imagine if this is Gina and Tom Cruise, like running around this boat.
She's
They
so
would be
tall
like,
and he's so short.
I'm in love and I'm 30. I'm 30 and flirty, baby. And he's like, I'm 34 and flirty, baby. And so like these two 30-year-olds are hooking up. I would have been into it.
So for the Rose type, Cameron wanted an Audrey Hepburn type.
He didn't get it. I don't think he got it. I think he got somebody who's not quirky. Like, Kate Winslet can be quirky, but I didn't find her quirky in this movie very much. I thought she was just like kind of standard main gal. Like,
She's not written like an Audrey Hepburn type, I don't think.
No. So if you wanted Jimmy Stewart and Audrey Hepburn, which I hear that combo and I'm intrigued by it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's a fun combo. He did not get that at all.
Yeah, he got something way different.
Yeah, he got like very serious, kind of like stoic actors and performances in this one.
Yeah.
Not quirky fun.
Not quirky fun. But then again, it's not a quirky fun film.
Yeah, it's
not
okay.
really.
It's okay. I'm not like saying
moments of levity,
it was
but not
really
a
bad
lot.
casting, but I'm just saying like he didn't get what he wanted.
Yeah, if that was the original plan.
He whiffed.
Yeah, you goofed. But did you goof? Because then we wouldn't have had it.
Yeah. Did you notice how yellow her teeth are in this movie?
Oh, I didn't, but you say that, and they're not bright white.
No.
That's true.
Yeah, she has very yellow teeth in this movie.
Not like very yellow, but they're not bright
Quite
white.
yellow.
The other thing is she's so pale, and so when you look so pale,
Sure.
your teeth don't look near as, and he's so tan. And they talk about like during their kissing scenes, they would get all their makeup on each other because he's supposed to be like this like
Worker,
rugged like
yep.
tan worker, and she's like this pale rose, and so he would get like white, and she'd get like brown on her mouth, and they're like, so they did that kissing scene. They always had to get like touched up in between. They said it was just miserable.
Oh, that's really funny.
So that could have been a part of it. But yes, I think also her teeth were not the stark white teeth that they are later on.
Yeah.
She's got white teeth now.
Mm-hmm.
So she was so impressed with Leo after reading with him that she told Cameron, hey, even if you don't go with me, you have to go with him.
I am trying to think if I've ever gone to bat for an actress like that before, like in a casting room. I
Yeah?
don't think so. I don't think I have. There's been
It's
people I've
pretty bold.
wanted to get roles, but like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I would never presume to. I'm never usually in that relationship with a director to say like, "Hey, pal," like, "Hey, if you want my advice, my unsolicited advice, here you go."
You've said that about a few movies where people were like, "Oh my gosh, it has to be her, right?" Like I think you mentioned that with Crossroads and Clueless. Like there have been movies where you're like, "Hey, it's gonna be her, right? Like she's so good."
great.
And I don't think that that's appropriate. I don't. I think that's presumptuous of the actors to try to overstep their bounds and cast a piece. You don't get a cast, baby.
No,
you're
that's
auditioning.
true. It's
You're
someone's
lucky
job.
if you're going to be a part of it. And if you did get cast, just count your lucky stars because that doesn't happen very often. Stop trying to get into the casters'
Well,
heads.
I mean, to be fair, in the example you gave was Crossroads, so I think Britney Spears probably could have had a say in who her best buds were going to be like, oh my gosh, so great, y'all.
That's
She's
true.
so great.
That's a good
Tanner
point.
Manning is great. Let's get her in here. Use whatever you want, Brittany. We got you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Let's talk about a couple of other cast members, shall we?
Yeah.
Billy Zane.
Who Rach literally turns to me and she goes, "Oh my gosh, I shouldn't tell you this already until we're on the pod, but I just love Billy Zane."
I think he's so evil. He does such a good job of playing evil. I love him.
He is one-dimensional.
No.
Yeah, he
False.
is. He is just an evil dickhead the entire movie. And
no.
there's one moment of complexity when he's like, "Yeah, Rose, get on that boat. We've got another boat on the other side, and Jack and I will get into it." And then he's like, "Jack, you're not gonna go anywhere. I don't care what you think." And so that's like the only moment of interest. Otherwise, he is an over-the-top villain to the point where he's just a wacko. He doesn't have any intrigue.
No,
He's not
strongly
complex.
Disagree. Strongly disagree. If it's that way, it's because he was written that way, not because he is that way.
Yeah, so you just have a Billy Zane crush.
I don't know. Maybe he always looks like he has eyeliner on. Doesn't
Tall, dark hair,
he? Oh.
handsome.
Mm-hmm.
He's your type.
Yeah, but
He's
he's
your
so
type.
evil, Ty.
Okay, Billy Zane versus Leo.
Hmm.
Who are you more attracted to?
In this Leo,
Okay.
but now I'm a woman, so maybe different. I don't know.
Oh,
Do you want to hear some other Billy Zanes?
Yeah. Yep.
We had
Kevin off the Backstreet Boys.
No.
We had Josh Hartnett. We had.
No. They were gonna swing at Matthew McConaughey's way after he didn't get Jack.
Okay.
I thought that would have been weird.
A Texas oil man.
They can't have two blondies too either.
Yeah,
That's kind
yep.
of weird. Like they look exactly alike. These other two would have been interesting. Hugh Grant,
Uh-huh.
who I think was probably too old at that point too.
Yeah, but that character could be older, though.
Mhm.
It would have been fine. I like Billy Zane maybe a little bit more because there's more of a physical difference because Hugh's
Mm-hmm.
not like that much physically different than Leo, and Billy seemed taller
Yeah.
and like kind of more gangly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he would have been fine though.
Yeah, I don't think he was attractive enough though, because then you got Rob Lowe. He was
Rob Lowe,
also
the
super
short,
attractive.
dark-haired version of Leo,
Yeah.
the Leo before there was a Leo.
That's exactly right, babe.
Bizarro Leo.
Ooh.
They are bizarro each other. What?
What?
Only I like Rob way more. Who's hotter between Rob and Leo?
Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Leo, 1 to 10. What rate him?
What Leo are we talking about?
We're talking
Because
about
I'll
Leo
be
and
honest,
Titanic.
in Titanic, because that's different. That's its own Leo.
Okay.
That's peak Leo.
You
for
never
me.
see Leo that good ever again?
Never.
Not Catch Me If You Can Leo with all those outfits?
No.
Pilot outfit, all this
No,
cool things?
it's Titanic or bust, baby.
Oh, okay.
That's
Oh,
the best
all
for
right.
Leo.
Well, this is fun. Titanic Leo,
Okay. Or
and then I want you to give me the rating for non-Titanic Leo.
oh, I mean, I don't know. We've got like a 9 versus a 5.
Whoa, he drops that far for you.
Have you seen Leo recently?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
So,
Then
so
what are we talking about?
I'm just saying he was a 9 for you in this movie.
He was peak. I had
He
a
was
poster of him in my bedroom.
And then he
was
just
peak.
depreciated all the way to a 5.
Oh, a steep depreciation.
Steep
In
depreciation.
his 20s, I would even say.
Okay, let's stay on Catch Me If You Can. What's he ranked in Catch Me If You Can?
Maybe like a 7.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he's on the descent.
Yeah.
By Aviator, he's a 5.
Oh, yeah.
Blood Diamond 5.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's just good to know.
Yeah.
What was he in Romeo and Juliet?
10.
No,
11.
he can't do Shakespeare.
12.
He's the worst Shakespeare
13.
actor ever.
Keep bringing it out. You go
He's-
higher and higher.
He's almost worse than the Shakespeare that we saw at the Red Fest.
Okay, easy, kid, easy. Let me give you another gal.
Okay.
Kathy Bates, who got
I
cast.
thought you were talking about for Rose. I was like,
No.
wait, what?
Kathy Bates for the role of Molly Brown.
Unthinkable Molly Brown.
The unsinkable Molly Brown. We'll talk about why she's called the unsinkable Molly
Yeah.
Brown.
Which is this somebody that you hear about in history?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she was an actress?
She was new money. I think she married somebody wealthy.
Oh, so she was like a
But
wealthy
she's pretty
philanthropist.
outspoken and yeah, something
Okay.
like that. That role was actually offered to Reba McEntire
What?
before Kathy Bates.
Why?
But Reba had to turn it down because of scheduling conflicts, I believe.
Kathy is so much better than Reba? What are you talking about?
I don't.
Kathy Bates is a tremendous actress.
She sure is.
Tremendous. That's crazy.
She adds a lot of depth to that character too. You see, like
she's interesting.
I just think about like on the boat when they're going away, and she has that. You go up on her face, and she's like,
Yep.
"Oh my god!" Like
Yep.
I can't imagine putting Reba McEntire in that, and
Yeah,
then like
no.
taking that seriously.
No. Kathy Bates was tremendous. That was maybe the best acting in the entire movie was Kathy Bates.
Oh, she was good.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you that my grandpa told me I looked like Reba McEntire?
Yeah, you have told me that.
Yeah.
I disagree.
And he
but,
was so sweet. He thought it was the sweetest thing
Yeah.
anyone's ever said.
Yeah, he's like, I think you look like Reba McEntire.
He said that my smile was similar to Reba McEntire.
Oh, do you like getting that or Gwyneth Paltrow? Or not Gwyneth Paltrow. Obviously, you like Gwyneth,
Gwyneth
Paltrow. more. No,
Never gotten that before, but I'll take that
Yeah,
one.
I mean, Kristen Chenoweth. Do you like getting Kristen Chenoweth or Reba McEntire more?
Oh my gosh. They're kind of similar. When you say that.
Just a tiny bit. Not
One is
really,
one
though.
has red hair and one has blonde hair. They
Yeah,
have the
they
same
look-
face.
No, they look different. They have
Very
different
similar.
qualities and stuff too. Who do you like being compared to more?
Probably Kristen Chenoweth.
Okay.
Especially a young Kristen Chenoweth. She's
Okay.
super cute.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get on with it.
Enough of this Reba McEntire.
Enough of this.
talk.
My word, I didn't bring it up. Other people who are in the film, we've got Bill Paxton as in kind of the present day time. We've got Victor Garber, who plays Mr. Andrews, who is the shipbuilder,
The designer.
the Irish.
I like him too.
Yeah, he did a nice
That's
job.
good acting.
Mhm.
He also is really good. He's very subtle, and he just. One thing I thought was goofy though is Cameron's like, I want another shot of you just looking at this clock. Okay, Lou, we're gonna come back to you. You're looking at the clock again. Now adjust the clock.
Yeah.
Like they kept going back to these shots. It was very Christopher Nolan-ish, where it's like show a bunch of different scenes while the wreck is happening, and people haven't really changed any positions or are doing anything different. It's like what a waste of a shot. Just move on. Just move on.
And then the other person I have in here is Gloria Stewart, who plays the older Rose, who was only 87. So they really make-upped her up
Yep.
to make her look like 101 or whatever she was supposed
Well,
to be.
I have a guess that she was reading off of a teleprompter because that gal was reading off the page. Either she doesn't know how to deliver lines naturally or she was reading a teleprompter. I was like, this is crazy. This acting is wild.
Well, I mean, she in her heyday was a pretty big deal
I
back
bet.
in like because I think Cameron wanted like an actress from the golden age, and so like
Yeah.
they like looked far and wide and found her, and then Kate Winslet said that she had a great time talking with her about like all the parties that she would go to with the Marx Brothers, and it's just like gosh, just
Oh, I
it's
remember-
bygone era.
I remember making out with Groucho with that mustache. Those were the days.
Those are the days. Two notable people not cast in this. We had Robert De Niro.
Okay.
Who do you think he might have been cast as?
I'm going to just say like the captain of the ship.
Yes. He was going
Oh.
to be cast as a captain, but had to turn it down because he had GI problems at the time.
Gastrointestinal problems?
Yeah, it must have been like a long
Get
situation.
poop in his pants.
He had some IBS
He's like,
going on.
I'm going to be going down to Mexico. I can't do
I
that.
cannot be on a boat
Yeah.
for months at a
My
time. I
tongue
cannot.
will explode.
That will not be good for me. And the other notable person, this was a child actress at the
Okay.
time. This person was going to be cast as the little girl. I think her name is Clara. Leo dances with her.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, "Don't worry, Clara, you're still my best girl."
Yep.
There's a couple of other shots of her, too. This person, Lindsay Lohan,
No way.
was going to be cast as that. But James Cameron said, I've just had too many redheads. I can't have another redhead. legit. That was the reasoning she didn't get
Oh
cast.
my gosh.
Now
Oh,
we can't change your hair or anything like that.
jeez.
It's like I've got Rose, her mom. That's already
I'll
too.
be honest with you
In
guys.
a sample size of 2,000 people on a boat, that's just too many. No more redheads.
Yeah, yep. I actually think they should cap redhead casting for every project. I think you can't have too many redheads.
I think that's a thing.
Yeah, that
I
is a
think it
thing.
can certainly hurt you.
Yep.
Or maybe it could help you.
Oh, they should have just cast her and just said like she's got to dye her hair blonde though,
Yeah.
or become a
I don't know.
brunette.
She'd be kind of odd looking with blonde hair, as we found out later.
Lindsay Lohan?
Yeah.
She don't look that weird with blonde hair.
She just red is her color, and she just has to stick with it.
Oh, okay.
So don't feel bad for her because The Parent Trap came out like a year or 2 years
Oh,
later.
yeah.
So she took
Trust
off
me,
and
I won't
did
lose
her
any
thing.
sleep about
Don't
Lindsay
lose
Lohan.
a minute of sleep about it, okay?
You got it.
All right. Let's talk some shop.
Yes.
Are you ready?
This is film time?
It's film time.
Okay.
All right. Let's start with the first day of filming.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think would be a really fun scene to do right off the bat?
Let's do the sex scene.
Yes.
Because that's what everybody decides. They're like, hey, let's make this happen right off the bat.
Let's do it.
Wait, was
day
it the,
one.
the painting scene or the car scene?
Yes. Let me clarify. It is the painting
Oh,
scene.
so it's even more awkward than the sex
The
scene.
painting scene was day one.
Jack, I want you to draw me like one of your French girls. Wearing this.
All right.
Wearing only this.
And it was day one because the boat wasn't done yet. So we thought, what shots can we get done inside while we're
Hey,
finishing the outside of this boat?
Just a heads up, Kate, we're going to cut ahead. I know we weren't supposed to do this for another 6 weeks, but we're going to do you being naked tomorrow. Hopefully that's cool with you. Don't eat or drink anything for the next 24 hours because you're going to be naked soon.
You're going to be naked.
And we
yes.
will definitely have 18 dudes who will all be on this set running this and the
Yes.
crew. So get ready for that as well.
What a fun first day at work, right?
Leo, look like you want to taste her. Like lick your lips more. Did you notice that he like licked his lips in one of the reaction shots? I was like, ew,
did.
Leo.
I did not
like-
notice that.
Like wetting his lips. I was like, no, bad choice. Bad choice.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not notice that. He was working. He was working so hard
He was
at
working so
pretending.
hard he was parched.
He was acting so hard.
Act harder.
But Cameron said that he wouldn't change it because, as unfortunate as that was the first scene, he said he liked it because there was a nervousness and an energy and like a hesitance with both of them
Yeah.
since this was their first scene together.
Mhm.
Now, this was not the first time that Leo saw Kate naked.
Mm.
Earlier in the day,
Mm-hmm.
he had gone into Kate's dressing room and she was getting her makeup done.
Yeah.
She was getting her makeup done in the nude because she had
To
to
get ready for
be
the nude
naked for
stuff?
the scene. So he comes in and he's like, "Oh, geez, so sorry." And she's like, you know what? We're going to look like this all day. Why don't we just get used to this? Why don't you just come in here and hang out?" And they just like talked while she was getting her makeup done.
Wow.
So
19-year-old Kate is wild.
she's a wild
I
child.
guess she's 20 now, right?
She's hopefully 20. We don't know.
I'll be honest. I feel uncomfortable about some of this.
Yeah, she's kind of like no nonsense. Now let's talk about whose hands you saw drawing the picture.
Wasn't Leo's, because every time they flip to it, you know he's drawing nothing on that notebook. Like he's literally just like pretending to shade things in, and then you see this like other hand that's doing the actual work or whatever, and it's like, oh, we're not even gonna pretend. Like
Yeah.
we're not even gonna let him draw some lines.
We've already talked about the artist. Who else do you think could maybe draw?
Oh, somebody on that's cast?
Or somebody involved in the movie?
James Cameron?
James Cameron.
He drew?
He is the artist.
Oh,
He did
wow.
all of the sketches
He-
in Leo's book.
Did pretty good.
He did. He did the sketching of Kate. Now she did say like she was in her bathing suit when he did like the actual
Yeah.
sketch of it, which I was like, oh, thank God, because the part of me is like, oh, gross.
All right, naked again.
All
Let's
right,
go
Kate,
time.
time for us to do your naked setting.
It's day 2, and I gotta draw you, girl.
Yeah. Yeah, that just made my skin crawl. But then she clarified she was in her bathing suit, but he did all of the other all of the sketches. It's his hand, which is
Okay.
crazy.
Yeah.
He's pretty talented.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you think that drawing might have sold for in auction
Oh,
post?
$1 million.
Oh, you way overshot it. I probably shouldn't have even put this at $16,000.
I just thought this movie was such a huge deal, and you said right after, I was like, everyone was like, oh my God, Titanic, yes! $1 million for Kate naked, please.
I mean, it might be worth that, but it only sold for $16,000.
Oh, if you're Kate, you'd almost be disappointed.
A
You'd be like,
little
only
bit.
16K?
Like, oh man, I
Come
look
on.
awesome, guys. I look incredible in this.
Yeah,
Are
you kidding?
Are you joshing me? Now, James Cameron has a bit of a nickname in Hollywood. Do you want to know what it is?
You know.
Great segue, Rach.
AKA what?
He is known as the scariest man in Hollywood.
Oh, because he
Yeah.
like freaks out or what? Like he gets mad?
Yeah,
Or what happens?
I think he's a pretty intense person
Okay.
to be around on set. They said especially in this giant production where you've got hundreds of extras.
Mhm.
So he's in this big, like, almost like crane.
Yep.
And he's got a giant megaphone and like walkie-talkies. And like when he doesn't like something, he just is like, all right, bring me down there. And then they like bring him down to the
Like
set.
Darth Vader. And
Yeah.
he walks over. He's like,
Dun, 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 dun.
he's like, I have words for you, Leo.
Yeah, like Billy Zane said there was one time where he was like, cut, when they're all during the ending scene on Titanic as it's sinking, and like he comes down and like he grabs this extra and he's like, all right, we're running for your life here. Your daughter ran back to the stateroom to grab something 5 minutes ago. It's 10 minutes. Where is she? You. Like, so he's giving all these extra, like, their backstories.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you need to do. This is what your story is.
He probably got mad because the extras were all just like acting lackadaisical. And he's like,
Yeah.
what the hell? Do you not understand the circumstances? Because extras are just like, I'm here for craft services. I get $100 a day, baby.
I am not getting in that pool.
I am not going to act hard.
I am not getting in that pool. It is cold. I am not getting in it. Yeah, it was cold. The
Yeah?
water.
In Mexico?
Not intentionally, but you just can't warm up that much water
Oh, okay.
that fast. So it wasn't meant to be cold, but
Mhm.
it was.
Oh,
It
okay.
was so cold that Kate Winslet got hypothermia.
Oh, shoot.
Legit hypothermia. People said it was pneumonia, but she clarified in an interview. It was straight up hypothermia.
Oh, okay.
Now, to be fair, Kate did not wear a wetsuit during her scene.
And where she's told to? Were they like,
I
hey, you
think
got to
she
wear a
was
wetsuit?
offered a wetsuit, and she said, "I'm not going to wear a wetsuit." So,
I'll be honest.
so
Sounds
there's a
like
little
something.
It's a little bit on her.
Sounds like something I would do, though. So, I mean, at the
Oh,
same time,
really?
it's like, oh, I hear. I'd be like, no, I wouldn't have a wetsuit on. I'm not going to wear a wetsuit.
Yeah, I bet Leo
And then
didn't
you
wear
get-
one. She's like, "Yeah, me neither." Oh God. Oh, instant regret. I hate this so much. No, but she said that she was genuinely frightened of James Cameron at times.
Yeah.
And she would not work with him again unless it was for a lot of money.
So, do you remember when Avatar and Hurt Locker came out? And everybody in Hollywood was rooting for James Cameron's ex-wife instead of him because he's like a huge asshole.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
She's his ex-wife?
Yeah, and she won that won Best Picture and she won Best Director.
Oh, she's so
And
great.
that was like a huge triumph because everybody's like, yeah, James Cameron, he's brilliant, but he's an asshole.
Yeah.
So that is not shocking.
That is interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he has an alter ego, and it's his name backwards, but he goes by Jim, I think, on set.
Okay.
So his nickname would be
Midge?
Midge. Yeah, Midge is the evil alter ego
Okay.
nickname that he has from his casting crew.
Oh,
Midge.
very nice. Does he like lay into it or is he like, oh, was I being a midge today? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. I don't know if he's like in on the joke. I'm sure he knows about it. If I can
Yeah.
find this, he can find this.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. That's
and I'm
true.
sure he has.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's found this. I'm sure he Googles himself on a regular. No, but a lot of the cast got the flu or pneumonia or kidney infections
Did
just
anybody
from
get
being in cold water.
Montezuma's revenge because they were in Mexico?
Nobody talked about that,
Okay.
but I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't wash your hands enough, yeah, that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
3 stuntmen broke their legs
Mm.
when they're going down like the
Yeah, they're in a
sliding part.
Tilt, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which looked fun.
Yeah, except for like you've got also furniture that's going down at
Yeah.
the same time that you're going, and so there was there was a couple of dangerous falls that Cameron had to cut just from a liability standpoint. Like,
Sure.
okay, maybe we're not going to have you jump off all the way from this one. Maybe we'll just CGI that person instead.
Yeah.
Because that's way too far of a fall and too dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
There was so much, though, that went wrong that they had to have a SAG investigation.
Mm.
Now, they didn't find anything that was inherently unsafe about the set,
Okay.
but there was enough claims that were made, or complaints or claims, or however that process goes, that SAG was like, hold up a sec. Like, we need to step in here because people are getting sick. People are breaking legs. Like, what's going on? What's going on down there in Mexico? What are you guys doing on that boat?
They could have used them on the Crow set.
Oh,
Remember all the stuff that went wrong on the Crow set?
Ty, don't bring that up. That's so sad.
Well, there's a ton of stuff. It wasn't just the Brandon Lee stuff.
I know. I remember.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Well, hey, how about that?
All right. I could go into, I have a random thing of fun facts that's like 10 bullets long, or we could talk about the door. I don't know which direction to go.
The door?
Or the paneling. The door, the famous scene, the boat in the water at the end where she's floating.
Oh, save the door. 10 bullet points.
All right, 10 bullet points in no particular order.
Yeah.
Leo had a lizard.
Okay.
A little baby chameleon that like fits on his fingers. The lizard's name was Blizzard. He had Blizzard with him in Mexico. Blizzard got run over by a truck, but Blizzard survived and was nursed back to health.
Very cool. I was really like, oh, shoot, Leo lost his lizard?
Yeah, it's really cute, too. It's so tiny. It's like just, it would fit on the tips of your fingers.
And it stayed with him? Like, he never lost it?
I don't know.
I'm shocked that
we brought it with him on set.
Yeah.
I'm not on set, but to filming.
I mean, if it got ran over by a truck, then it's like, oh, it must have got loose or like been running around.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, has anybody seen Blizzard lately? Everybody's like,
hey, Leo, I've got Blizzard over here. Trina, give me Blizzard back.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. You're right. So the filming that happened in present time, which was in Nova Scotia, a prank went a bit awry.
Okay.
Somebody thought it would be really fun to taint the food with PCP. And so everybody was tripping.
Yeah.
And director included. Everybody got poisoned, essentially. And 80 people had to go to the hospital.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
And what happened to that person?
Nobody found out who it was. It's a secret.
Whoa.
To this day, they don't know who poisoned the food.
That's
who put PCP in the clam chowder.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was like a soup or something like that.
Oh, I love clam chowder. I would have totally fallen for that.
Yeah, just tripping balls in Nova Scotia. Yeah, it was that crew. So it was like Bill Paxton was like, all of a sudden, I was like, I am not okay. And he was looking over and he's like, and James is over here puking. I was like, oh no.
We all get
People were like
poisoned.
hallucinating, and it was just, it was crazy. So,
Witches' curses.
A prank gone awry.
Very wild. Wow.
The movie was had a decoy title. I don't know what the purpose of decoy titles is.
Yeah, especially for Titanic. Why do you need a decoy? Project whatever.
You know what? It probably was. It probably was on set, just like outside of like where they were filming. They probably put on filming this movie, so people weren't like, oh, that sounds big.
Yeah. Filming Operation Naruto.
The decoy title was Planet Ice.
Okay.
So
very nice.
That I think says all it needs to say. A couple of improvisations. The spitting in Billy Zane's face.
Yeah.
While that wasn't maybe not in the moment an improv, but that was Kate's idea. She was supposed to stab him with a hairpin to try to make him let him go.
Dragonfly hairpin, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
We see. Isn't it dragonfly?
Something like that. But instead, she hawks a loogie and spits it in his face.
Which we see that scene earlier.
Which makes a lot. It's a good callback.
Yep,
so I thought that was good, and it was very much like, ugh, how dare you spit in my face? She said also the hand on the glass.
Yeah, that was her idea.
After the sex scene was also an improv.
It's a really great touch.
It's iconic.
Yep.
She said the sweatiness was not improvised.
Oh my gosh, they look so sweaty. For one thing, it's so foggy in that car too. You're like, oh, it must be so hot.
Yeah, she kept spritzing them.
Yeah.
To play up the sweat.
Okay.
But yeah, so then they just
yeah.
squeaked a hand on it and loved it.
But an easier sex scene to do because you don't really have to see him do anything.
No, not really. Yeah. Honestly, all the nudity happens in the drawing scene.
Day one.
So, day one. That's done. Easy. The rest is easy now.
Now just canoodle in your underwear and put your hand on that glass.
Easy peasy. Being in the water for hours at a time. People do things in water that you have to do.
Pee and they poop.
I don't know about pooping, but people definitely peed in the water.
Hey, James, I'm pooping right now, so
Yeah.
can you make an announcement for people to stop swimming over here?
Yeah, Kate said, you feel awful about it, but like there were times they're like, hey, I'm so sorry. I gotta go. And so they
Yeah.
just go over and pee and then come back.
As everybody's floating around in this cesspool.
And that cesspool, no wonder everyone's getting kidney infections and UTIs. The chemistry between Leo and Kate, so they kind of have an interesting relationship. So he would do things like he'd fart in his jacket and like sweep it over her face or things like that.
Classic.
Classic.
I love that.
Classic prankster.
That's funny.
But then, and I couldn't verify this on more than one site, so I don't know how true it is, but people reported that like they were very close, and there was like a lot of like cuddling under blankets sometimes, and I don't know if they like did anything, but people talked about the conversations that they would have were pretty explicit. Like they would like give each other sex tips.
Yeah, like have
things.
you ever done this? Maybe.
Yeah, it was like, oh, do it like this, not like that. Like things like that where
wow.
it said. So
they for
I could
sure
only find
hooked
it
up.
one time.
There's no doubt in my mind if they're having those kinds of conversations, they're cuddling, holding hands under blankets, they're hooking up as
Think
well.
so?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Well, and I mean, they go on to have a very near and dear friendship. They like talk. I watched this whole like compilation of like them just like gushing about the other one in interviews, even to this day, because they've done like Revolutionary Road. They were in that together like
that was
less
a
than
weak
10 years after that or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I think her husband directed that too. So that's interesting.
How?
But
Oh wow.
crazy, right?
Be like, no, I'm not gonna cast Leo. You're giving him sex tips.
I know.
No
I know
way.
what was happening under those blankets, you guys.
Yeah, you sickos.
But she goes on to say that they have a very like brother-sister relationship. They just care.
Well, now
yeah.
that they've hooked up so many times, it's like, yeah, we're brother and sister who did it
Can
in the
you
past.
say that now?
Yeah, we used to do it. Now we're brother and sister.
All right, let's talk about the door, and then we'll do a little post-production.
Yeah.
We're cruising. We're doing great.
Let's talk about that door that easily fits two people.
Yes.
And they don't even try. They try one time, and they
do
never
try
try again.
one time.
That's my biggest problem with the
Yeah.
door. My biggest problem is, so if you've never seen the movie, they're floating on a door at the end of it, and Kate's on top of the door, and Leo's in the water, and they're all like just holding hands, and he freezes to death in the water. They try one time for him to get up on the door, and they flip over, and he's like, oh no, it's not gonna work. And then Kate gets up on the door, just hogs the whole door, and then he's just like freezing in there, and they don't even try again. They don't both get on it and see that it's sinking. They don't do anything to try to play up this idea of this door. It's stupid. It's like moronically bad. And I can't believe that a $200 million film, that's not an attention to detail that somebody was like, James, this doesn't make sense. Can we just take 5 minutes and talk about this door scene? I just need 5 minutes of your time. Because it's silly.
You're
and
not
they
wrong.
deserve to get made fun of about this.
You're not wrong.
It's awful.
Honestly, I think they would be with you on that, and they wish that was the case, because whenever they talk about anything Titanic related on any of the late night shows,
The
from
door
here
comes
to
up?
then, the door always comes up.
Yeah.
And in some cases it's kind of funny, like Kate and Stephen Colbert like do a reenactment of it, and she's like, "Come on up, there's plenty of room." So it's very it's cute, but I think they're also maybe tired of it. She's a good sport about it. I couldn't really find many like Leo interviews, to be honest, because I don't think he's a big interviewer.
Well, why? I wouldn't blame like Kate and Leo about it.
No, I know,
Like,
but they have to take all the shit
yeah.
because like who's interviewing James Cameron on the
Sure.
late night show?
But so James Cameron needs to answer for his mistake.
and answer he shall. Would you like to hear
Yes,
what
please.
he said? Oh, before I
He
tell you
says,
this,
like Lost in J.J. Abrams, who cares? I dumped $200 million into this. Just enjoy the beauty of it. Who cares?
you're welcome. Before I get into that, so this paneling is actually, it's a piece of panel, is actually based on a real artifact.
Okay.
This the door or the panel or whatever you want to call it
Yep.
is in the Maritime Museum in Nova Scotia.
Oh, wow.
So you can go and you can see the actual door.
Wowza.
Now, James Cameron's answer to this, he said, look, it's very, very simple. Read page 147 of the script. It says, Jack gets off the board and gives his place to her so that she can survive. It's that simple.
But he didn't do that. He didn't. But they don't make that clear. They don't like get on. Like he should have never gotten on then.
Mm-hmm.
He should have just like been like, all right, get on there.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of they do this stupid thing where he tries to climb on and it flips, and he's like, oh, nope, it's never gonna work. Like that's the problem.
Yeah.
I understand what James is saying, but that he didn't do that. If they both got on it and it starts to sink, and he goes, I have to get off of it. Like you stay on it, I'm gonna be right here. That would have worked.
They should have done the buoyancy thing because I think it's not size. I think it's more about buoyancy. Like it will.
I get
it can't keep them both out
But
of the
they didn't
water.
tell that story. They
I
told
know
the
they
story
didn't.
that it flips when you get on it.
I know
Guess
what
what?
they did.
Kayaks flip when you get on it too. But eventually you'll get into that damn kayak without it flipping. Trust me.
I love that you are just as fired up as everybody else about this
Well,
topic.
because it's stupid. And he doesn't have it. Like his argument is stupid.
It is. It's not stupid.
He's an idiot.
He's a big oversight, I will say.
Yeah.
He probably really wishes he would have fixed that.
Yeah, he
'Cause
should
it's
have.
all people can talk about.
Well, and how did it not come up when they did like their first audience showings and stuff? And wasn't somebody like, hey, that doesn't make any sense? And then I'm sure it did come up, and Cameron's like, forget about them. Frick those guys. We got it. $200 million.
I'm great. I'm great. Post-production.
Yeah.
The studios begged Cameron to cut an hour of the film.
Dude,
They begged him.
I would have begged him too.
Yeah?
Yeah. This
That
movie's
three
an
is-
hour
three
too long.
is too long?
There's so many moments to cut. There's even in the love story in VHS 1, there's
Wait, what?
in VHS 1 there's stuff to cut.
Yep.
In VHS 2, there's a ton to cut. We watched that damn boat sink for over an hour. Over an hour of creaking, of flooding, of people sliding, getting in the water, screaming, holding on. We watched that for a damn hour.
That's how long it took in real life,
You know
Ty.
what? And here's the thing. I appreciate their attempt to be like accurate because it felt like accurate. Like, oh, that probably is how long it really took. I don't need to see it from an entertainment perspective. From a Hollywood perspective, speed it up. That it was honestly at least a half an hour off of just the boat sinking.
Yeah.
They could have taken away.
There are definitely things to tighten it up.
Dude, I got bored out of my gourd during
Towards
the
the
crash.
end?
Yes. I was like split in half already. How many times do we have to walk around flooding hallways? Like I've seen flooding hallways now for the last 40 minutes. And then when we're watching the boat crack, I'm like, crack and split already. How long do we have to watch these boats get lowered by pulleys and people being like, oh, but we don't have room on it. Like that sequence goes on for a crazy amount of time. It was so boring and it should be exciting and thrilling. I was like, come on, let's go.
Oh my gosh. They wanted it cut because they thought with it being that long, that's going to mean fewer showings. You can't,
Oh,
there's
sure.
only so many times you can show a movie. If you have it for 3 hours, okay, that's one less showing every single day.
Yep.
James Cameron's response. You want to cut my movie? You're going to have to fire me. You want to fire me? You're going to have to kill me.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. I'll tell you what, you can cut my hands off of the mouse because you're not going to touch the editing room, you
My
little
cold
douchebag.
dead hands. So I guess you say that to Cameron and you see what he says and he's good to tell you. You can kill him.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That's so funny.
Now, from the money perspective, Cameron did offer, he believed in the 3 hours so strongly that he offered to forfeit his profits
Oh wow.
of the film. That's how much he believed in it. Now, the studios thought, there are not going to be any profits. We spent $200 million on this. That's not even a good deal. That's like a worthless offer. So,
Sure.
yeah, get rid of your profits. Yeah, sure, bud. So, a couple of things that did get cut, but not necessarily from a time perspective, more of a story perspective as it evolved and became what he wanted it to be. There was a scene with a boat that was nearby called the Californian.
Okay.
And that was a boat that had turned its radio off that night and would have been able to get there and save a lot of people. Very kind of tragic story.
Not necessary for storytelling, though.
Yeah,
We did not
yeah.
need to see another boat being like, hey, you guys want to turn the radio off and just have a quiet night out at the sea today? And they're like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then they turn it off and people are radio like, it's California, where are you? And like, oh man, it's so nice under the stars tonight.
Yeah.
We don't need any of that.
You don't need it. I think in the history sense, it adds to the tragedy of it all.
Sure.
But I think he says, like, it takes you out of the world. As it evolved, it's just like, we don't
Well,
need that. We need to stay with the boat.
yeah.
It's gonna, like, this is where the story is. It's not over with the Californian.
Yep.
Another cut scene at the end, or reshot scene, they had Bill Paxton coming back at the end with old Rose
Yes.
at the end of the boat, and she was explaining to him why she was going to throw the heart of the ocean back in the water, the big necklace, and he was like, yes, I understand now, and I believe that there's more to life than that, and treasure it's so fleeting, you know. So I think Cameron decided, like, yeah, that's not the story I really want to tell now. And Bill Paxton was gracious enough to figure out, like, yeah, this isn't really about my character's, like, arc or anything like that.
That
and
is
to be honest,
stupid.
it's so dumb.
Yeah. Oh, I
He would
get
never
it.
say that.
My name's Bill Paxton, and I get what you're trying to say, Rose.
Yeah, let's not pretend like he's forever changed
No.
by that. He's still going
No.
down for that necklace.
For sure.
You know?
I also hated that they like kind of lightly teased that Bill Paxton and her granddaughter were gonna hook up. I was like, get out of here! I don't need to see any sort of attraction,
You say
any
that, but
romantic
like,
tension
but
between these two
what
characters.
makes you say that? Because
They
were
like have a
talking?
conversation, and he's like, "Yeah, my," and they're just their looks at each other, and there's like supposed to be this like sexual tension, like this romantic tension going on. I was like, "Get out of here!"
That's funny.
I don't need to hear soft music playing underneath their dialogue on the ship. Like, come on.
I didn't pick up on any of that. I just thought it was a guy and a gal having a talk at night on a boat. But
Well,
could be.
yeah.
Could be.
Whenever
something
guys and
spicy.
gals talk on boats.
There's more to it than that. Music.
Oh,
Let's talk about it.
so good.
While he was writing this, he listened to a lot of a particular artist. A particular
Backstreet Boys.
Irish artist.
Flogging Molly. Dropkick Murphys.
No, I think about the music. I think about like the sound of it and
Enya.
yes. She declined to compose music for it. He wanted Enya to do the music for it. She
That's
said,
okay.
no thanks.
Yeah. No thanks.
No thanks.
No bother.
Yeah, then Tim said, oh, no, I no bother. So he reached back out to his bud, James Horner, who he had worked on with Aliens. Oh, I have an S on this. It was S, Aliens.
Yep.
But they had a tumultuous working experience on Aliens, but I
Oh.
guess they kind of like buried the hatchet for this.
Really?
And we're okay. And so they worked on this music together. James Cameron did not want anything but instrumentals. He only wanted an instrumental soundtrack. James Horner had a better idea. He said, but what about if I write a secret song for Celine Dion
Yes.
to secretly sing and to secretly record a demo, and then I force James Cameron to listen to it on repeat, and then maybe he changes his mind?
But she never sings during the movie.
No.
You know, you only hear instrumentals of her song.
Yes.
There.
Yeah. But he didn't even, James Cameron initially didn't even want that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he didn't want a big song to go with it at all. He
Yeah.
just wanted just instrumentals for
what
the
an
movie.
iconic song, though. The
Yes.
song, Celine Dion version is awesome. The instrumental's great. There's a lot of fun, like the opening song when they're like getting on the boat. Do, 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 do. That's a terrible version. I sound like do, 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 do,
We are having a real wild party.
But there's just this opening instrumental when they're getting on the boat that's very like light and fluffy,
Oh,
and I love it.
I literally can hear it now. I can hear what you're doing. Yeah, I think you're going a little too like minor with it. I
Yeah.
think it's still in the major key.
I'm like singing part of a different song.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very nice.
I got it.
It's very
Yeah,
nice.
very nice. Good job, James Horner.
Yeah.
So obviously he listens to it and he's like, okay, we can have the Celine Dion song. And a part of it, he also thought for producers, if this is a hit song, maybe this will like lower their worries about we're not going to make any money. Like, hey, we got a good song. We got a hit song out
Got
of
a
it.
song
So
out of it. Like St.
there
Elmo's
you go.
Fire. Sometimes that's what you get out of your movie. You got a great song.
That's all that remains. It's just a great song. I want to take a detour at some point and talk a little bit about real life Titanic. I won't go into like a lot of detail, but there's some real life people I want to touch on who are characters in this.
Okay.
And then I want to get into your things that you wanted to share.
Are you going to tell everybody about your Titanic, the video game?
Yes, I do have video game as a bullet point.
Okay.
That'd be a great segue post this.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Yep.
Let's go into the real world of Titanic. And before I get to awards, I want to come back to you for things that you have to share.
Okay.
Or scenes that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Good?
You got it.
Real life. Okay, so there was an old couple, and I said, hey, remember that old couple?
Yeah, they like are sleeping in a bed while the water's coming in. It's very
Yes.
sweet.
It's very sweet, and it's sweet because it's based on a real life couple. So
Oh, cool.
they are the owners of Macy's. This is Ida and Isidore Strauss.
Uh-huh.
So very wealthy, well-to-do
Strauss,
couple.
Levi Strauss family?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That's a really good question.
Okay.
Could be. Could be related. So obviously Ida could have gotten on a boat, and then they try to put her on a boat to get off of Titanic, but she refuses to leave her husband. She says, as we lived, so we die
Oh,
together.
wow. How
Like,
romantic. Very
profound.
You mentioned this very notebooky.
Very notebook. Yeah, except they like
Yeah.
drown together, which is just a terrible, one of the worst ways to die, I think.
For sure.
Drowning.
But
yeah,
they did
we
it
don't have to
together.
get-
Kind of
yeah.
like Jin and Sun in Lost.
Oh, gosh. Oh, now I'm going to woe up and cry. Yes.
I'm not going to leave you.
Die.
Leave me, Jin. I won't leave you.
You're making me well. I have tears.
So, yeah, that's a very powerful moment.
Yes. But that couple that was based on a real life couple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we already talked about her a little bit, but Molly Brown,
Yes.
Kathy Bates, the unsinkable Molly Brown. So she gets the nickname for being the unsinkable Molly Brown because she essentially commandeers her lifeboat. Because after the sinking, her officer in charge of the lifeboat is not listening. He's not going back. They're not doing really anything. Telling everyone to sit down and shut up and kind of being like very ungentlemanly.
Yep. Kind of like we saw.
Yeah, so she essentially, just to keep the passengers on the boat warm, she says, okay, ladies, let's take turns rowing, just so like they can stay warm for the 7 hours that they're out there. And then again, yeah, and she begged to go back, so she did all these things. When she comes back into New York, she's kind of paraded as a hero. People
Yep.
are like, oh, she was, incredible. She's the unsinkable Molly Brown. So she gets kind of that because she's so tenacious, right?
Sure, yeah.
Thomas Andrews. So this is Victor Garber's character, the designer, the
Yeah,
architect of
yep,
the ship.
Who goes down with the
He
ship.
goes down with the ship. So they do have that last scene of him at the clock, which is true. He he was reported being seen some of his last moments in the smoking room, just kind of
Playing
staring
with
off.
that clock. Did people say
But-
yeah, we saw him 5 minutes ago, and he was staring at the clock, and we just passed through again. He was kind of winding the clock. I saw that.
Yeah.
And then he was like lighting up and staring at the clock again.
Well, somebody also shared that in real life, Thomas Andrews, after he kind of had his moment of like disillusion, like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, this boat's sinking. Then he helps with evacuation. He's throwing chairs into the water so people can float on those. Like,
Yep.
he's just kind of trying to be helpful before he dies. We found out that there was a Jay Dawson. Remember when we were at the Titanic Museum?
Yeah.
They had like a little movie section.
Yeah, the guy who runs away, right? Who like sneaks onto a boat? Is that who Jay Dawson is?
Jack Dawson.
Oh, Jack Dawson.
We found out there was
yeah.
a Jay Dawson.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
His name is Joseph Dawson,
Mm-hmm.
and he worked in the engine room.
Yep.
James Cameron did not do his research. He did not know that until after the film
Okay.
was released. They're like, was there really a Jack Dawson? No, but there was a Jay Dawson. And so this man's gravesite has kind of become like a tourist thing. Like, people like go there and like leave flowers for Jay Dawson.
Even though it like
nothing to do
it means
with
nothing.
no, other than somebody who died on the Titanic who has that name.
Same initials, yeah.
Yep.
Very interesting.
And then the next or last person I'll talk about, First Officer William Murdoch. So Murdoch was the officer who, when things are getting chaotic, he accidentally shoots somebody,
And then he shoots
and then
himself.
he shoots himself. right?
Yes, that part is crazy.
It is crazy.
I love that moment.
Yeah, that honestly, like that whole sequence, like makes me well up.
Yep.
A little bit. So the family of William Murdoch were very, very upset by this.
That they
because
showed it?
Well, because that didn't happen.
Oh,
by all
they
accounts.
made that all up?
Yeah, by all accounts.
Oh, I'd be pissed too.
Yes, they kind of like tarnished his
Yeah.
reputation, and I think James Cameron like at first was like, well, we know things like that happened, but they're like, yeah, but
just
you put that on
make
my
a fictitious character.
yeah,
then.
you made my character, you made our great granddad or whatever look like
a
a
murderer,
coward and
then
someone
yeah,
who was
and then,
unstable.
Yeah.
So he in the DVD commentary he apologizes
Uh-huh.
for that, and then
Does he
the
apologize with his paychecks?
then the production company makes a sizable donation
Yeah.
to the William Murdoch memorial prize at his high school.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's kind of an ongoing fund there that they finance because they hurt some feelings. with
Yeah,
that
for
one.
sure. That's bullshit.
Yeah. Can't just do that.
You can't just make up stories about people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Shakespeare did that to Macbeth.
Well, there you
Made
go.
up that story. Macbeth was a great guy.
Well,
Do your research.
His,
He's
his family
awesome.
should have been more outraged.
I'll be honest. The real story of Macbeth is awesome. He's the coolest. I'm going to write a play called The Real Macbeth, and you're all going to be like, Macbeth, he's a bad guy. And then you're going to see this play and be like, he's the coolest guy ever.
We felt extra sorry for him.
Oh my gosh, he's the best.
The last thing I want to talk about as far as real pieces, so older Rose has a Pomeranian dog, and that is intentional because it's to honor one of the 3 dogs that made it off of Titanic. One was a
Okay.
Pomeranian,
Yep.
but only 3 dogs survived.
Yeah.
Yeah. James Cameron did have some scenes of the dogs in the water as
Did
well.
people say
paddling.
it's got to take him off?
I don't know why, but he decided to cut those. And a part of me is like, yeah, it's so sad. It's
you
not
already-
it's not needed. It's already
No.
so devastating,
You see a baby.
Mhm.
You see somebody holding a baby in the
infant.
water
Yeah.
frozen. And it's like, oh, that's maybe too far too.
Mhm.
Like, it's already horrible enough. And I know you want to like drive home how bad it was.
Yeah, yeah.
But you got to be careful though too, where you're like, oh, okay, now I'm like, it's getting into trauma territory.
Yeah, I don't want to
like,
disassociate.
I don't want to see a bunch of dogs and kids and babies frozen in the water. Like, is that really what we're gonna tell? You know,
Yeah, well,
I know what happened.
It's hard, yeah.
but
Yeah, but only 3 dogs. So that's why that she has a Pomeranian.
okay.
All right. Should I talk about my video game or do you want to talk about
You
some
talk
things?
about the video game.
So, during my Titanic phase, back when I was in 5th or 6th grade, hard to say, it's a phase, couple of years. A great video game came out. The video game, some of you might know, is Titanic, and I believe it's called Out of Time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ty recently downloaded it for me on Steam, and so I played it last week. I got about halfway through.
And then she got killed. It's funny. I walked in and she's like, yeah, I got to get this book from this boiler room. And she goes over and she grabs it. And then this Hungarian guy or something comes up behind her and is like, hey, I've been looking for that book for a long time. And then he shoots her. I was like,
And you're like, wait, what just happened? I didn't save it. Ah!
and I was like, oh, I can't believe I watched this whole thing. Rach never plays video games. She makes the cardinal sin that every video game player makes.
didn't
You
save
don't
it.
save it because you hubris. Hubris.
I
You're
didn't
as
know.
worse as James
I
Cameron.
didn't remember I was gonna die.
Hubris. You're before the pride goeth the fall.
Oh my gosh. Well, we don't get a
Oh.
save button in real life, Ty. You just have to go with it.
Well, guess what? You just cost yourself 2 hours. So
I
enjoy.
did.
Enjoy backtracking. Nothing's worse in a video game than backtracking stuff you've already done before.
Yeah, to be fair, when I was able to play catch up pretty quickly. So essentially, you're kind of like, an agent, a secret spy on the Titanic. You're transported back there the night it is going to hit the iceberg, and you have like 3 or 4 things that you have to do, including like collecting a painting and a book and working with other spies. And you got to do it all, and you got to get off the boat. That's your mission.
Yep.
It's incredible. And
Incredible.
it's incredible. And the boat.
It's a point and click adventure.
It's a point and click, and it's so good. They took a note from James Cameron and made it look, from a digital perspective, as close to the real thing as it can be. This is why this movie means so much, because I know where all of those things are. I know where the weight room is. I
Yeah.
know where the Turkish baths are. I know where the cargo hold is.
I think
am
it's
so familiar
I
with
think
these.
it's Rachel's favorite video game.
It's so great. And okay, the last thing I'll say about it is, the last 2 things I'll say about it is, so when you go to interview people, it was like one of the first games I can remember that you get a menu of different things that you can ask them as you're kind of like interrogating
If you ask
them.
them the wrong thing, it goes poorly.
It
right?
goes poorly, right? But the way that they have the people, so they're like just still shots of real people making doing the dialogues. Anyways, for the time, it was incredible. You got to remember, like, this is like
Guys,
good CGI. It's so good.
The acting is terrible. The dialects are the most atrocious things I've ever heard in my life. They literally make my ears bleed. That's how
Now,
bad the dialect work is.
Careful, let me tell you something. So
Yeah. Drew Barrymore did all the dialect work.
No, the creators of the video game were from I think in Tennessee, a group from there.
Yep.
And the actors, the bodies of the people are just people at a community theater in town.
Totally understand that.
The voices, though, they had a connection to somebody at the BBC, and so the voices are other actors, but from the UK.
Well, they're awful. I don't care if they're from the BBC. They are terrible. The voices are atrocious.
Not everybody is atrocious.
A lot of people.
Okay.
I heard 5 people, and it was 5 for 5 terrible dialect work. It was astounding.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, the game is so fun. The game becomes an overnight success. It didn't know about the movie Titanic coming out. It was going to come out on its own accord. So because this movie came out, this got like a huge bumper.
What a lucky happenstance.
It was an incredible happenstance. The team is just like, we couldn't have planned that any better because this game wasn't going to go anywhere before that.
This game is a lot like those Nancy Drew games. So if you like those Nancy Drew games, you'll like it. If you like Myst, if you like games where you're pointing, clicking, and solving mysteries, you'll like it.
It's a great time.
Yep.
Highly recommend. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
All right, I want to hear about some scenes you want to talk about,
Sure.
moments that just stuck with you, and then we'll get into more money,
Okay.
and awards.
So here's a couple things that I noticed that were wrong.
Okay.
So I had looked up a little bit of stuff, and I feel like it's fair to share this with you.
Sure.
They mentioned Freud in this movie.
Yeah.
Freud does not publish until after the Titanic goes down in the late 1910s.
Oh.
And so there's no Freud. Nobody would know Freud. He's around, but he's like not popular. Nobody would know anything about him.
Cool.
Lake Wissota or whatever, Wissota, that he talks about like freezing
Who's
and
he?
Jack falling through the lake and freezing in it is a man-made lake that's made in the 20s. It did not exist yet. Do a little bit of research and pick one of the other 1,000 lakes in Wisconsin that you could have chosen instead of the one that was built after the fact.
To be fair, though, who Googles like, nah, I'm going to put this lake in my story. Is this a real lake or is this a man-made lake?
Yeah.
Like, who
he
does
just opened
that?
up a map and he was like, yeah, Lake Wissota, that looks small.
Exactly.
He just thumbed and picked one. Like, that's all he did.
Well,
Just send one of your assistants. Be like, hey, check on that lake. Make sure that was around then.
who would even think that? Who would even think to see, did this lake exist when this movie existed?
You got to do your research. You got to be better.
I'll
to be
give
better.
him that one.
You got to be better. The Italian buddy, Jack's Italian buddy, who they're playing
his
the
friend,
card game to win the tickets on the Titanic.
Fabrizio.
Yep.
Fabrizio?
He is actually German-Austrian, and you can
the
tell
actors?
his Italian was awful.
Yeah.
So we had some bad dialect work in this movie. Like, we missed it. We missed the boat. I thought he was a pathetic character anyway. I was like, who cares about this guy? And then his other buddy, his Irish friend, who we like don't even really get to know, but he gets shot later.
Yeah.
I was like, who cares about this character too? Like, they spent too much time on characters that literally didn't matter. They tried to make too many characters be important.
Sure.
Like, even the guy who's, like, kind of weaselly, who then escapes the boat and jumps on a boat and then, like, goes off with the women. Like, that's a character they tried to, like, make us, like, know something about. And I was like, no, we don't care. Too many characters. Limit it.
Ismay is his last name. He's a real person, and he really did something similar to that. So he had a lot of, crap thrown at him when he got back to New York. He was like, you're a coward. You should have died.
Yeah, and that's okay, but
I hear you.
It's just
There's
too
a lot
much.
of emphasis on
It's just too
historical figures that maybe we didn't have time for.
We
even
have time.
had like the Astors are in there.
Yeah,
JJ Astor and his wife, and yeah, they're a big deal. Obviously, at the time, the richest man in the world essentially was on this boat and he died.
Yep.
But we don't get into that.
Yeah,
you know? Not
like
really.
why waste some time on it?
Sure.
I don't know. I just thought it was superfluous and not necessary.
Sure.
I think this is really important to get into. You love Jack, right? You love this character, Jack Dawson.
Okay, I love is a strong word, but continue.
You loved him as a kid.
I did.
Thought he was so charming,
I loved
so
him.
great. He was like who you put on the wall. You and every other millennial teenager at this time just loved Jack Dawson.
Yeah.
He draws chi-chis for a living. That's his job. His job is to draw boobs. That's what he does. And I think it's
not all he draws.
That's what he draws.
He has pictures of mothers and babies.
He has
and
one.
Men
He has wait.
And
He has
women.
one picture of a mother and baby.
That we
He has
saw.
one picture. How many pictures
An
of
old
chi-chis does he have?
lady.
What's his chi-chi to mother and baby ratio?
Well, that's what people draw. You draw nudes. You draw as an artist.
He
that's the
draws an inordinate amount of chi-chis
thing. Okay.
in his notebook. And so imagine like Superbad when he draws dicks or whatever in his notebook. It's very similar. And we make fun of that character, but we give Jack a big pass, even though he's got pages and pages full of boobs.
I think.
And we're like, oh, he's not a horny teenager? We're not going to call out this 21-year-old horny kid from Wisconsin for the boob notebook that he has? We're going to pretend he's charming?
Okay, let's back it up though. But why does he do that? Because we have to have Rose have the scene. We won't get the naked drawing. She's just gonna all of a sudden like, hey, I want you to draw me, but can you draw me naked?
How about this? How about he has this beautiful notebook full of drawings, but he's got maybe a couple nudes that she stumbles upon and he's kind of embarrassed about, and she's like, no, these are beautiful. You could tell that story still in a simpler way rather than literally a pervy notebook full of boobs. That's what he has.
I just think it's interesting that you think that the nude is like, it's pervy. Like, think about how much art is nude. There's so, like, sculptures, paintings.
I
like,
get it.
It's all
no,
nude.
You can have nudes. I'm not saying you can't. But what I'm saying is when your ratio is 10-1, nudes to normal photos, you're a pervert. Like, you then are a horny little kid.
Gosh.
You are.
Such
It's
a
because
hard
your ratio
stance.
is off.
No.
If it's even 50-50, we can have this conversation. It's 10-1, baby.
I hope that, like, you go after, like, Michelangelo for this. Like, how dare he carve a male nude out of marble?
Too many wieners, Michael.
Way too big of a wiener, Michael.
No,
like,
they're actually pretty small. But
David. Yeah, just, I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting take. Continue.
Yeah.
What other thoughts did you have?
Okay. Leo's hair is extremely goofy.
Yeah.
He has the
it
goofiest
feels
hair.
super 90s.
It kind of works for him a little bit.
97?
But it looks like he's trying to grow Nick Carter hair.
Yeah, it's very modern and yet very dated.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like, wait, does anybody else have hair like that? Like, is this something that you're all doing? When he slicks it back, it's like, oh, okay, now you look like you're supposed to during the time period.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. He only gets away with it because he's lower class. But you know, if they would have wrote that character to be high class, he still would have had that hair.
Yeah, it's funny that his R&J present day hair is the same as his Titanic hair. Like,
Yeah, that should
really?
be different.
Yeah, I feel like that should be different.
Uh-huh.
You're right.
And really, it's almost like their haircuts at the time are kind of like they are now. So they would cut it really short on the sides, and then they would have it longer on the top.
Oh,
and
sure.
you'd either kind of fluff it up and like it look curly, or you'd slick it over. And so you kind of had a hairstyle that was somewhat similar to what our current hairstyle is back in these like 1910s.
Interesting.
Yeah. We played the Titanic theme in band in middle school. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that.
It's on trumpet. What'd you think of the script? I kind of alluded to it, but what did you think of the script?
I think that I don't want to get. There's a critique that comes up that I think, oh boy, that kind of hits it for me. Do you want me just to read what the critique is so we can talk about it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So obviously, Titanic gets a ton of praise, right, from the critics, but I did save one that I thought, oh, that has an interesting tone to it. So I'm from the San Fran Examiner.
Okay.
San Francisco Examiner.
Yep.
The number of times in this unbelievably badly written script that the two leads refer to each other by name was an indication of just how dramatically the script lacked anything more interesting for the actors to say.
That's amazing. Because honestly, Jack, Kate. No, he doesn't call her Kate. Rose, Jack, Rose. I looked it up.
Oh, wow.
This is a thing.
That's something. Somebody wrote that down.
Oh, yeah. This is
incredible.
the thing. There's whole message boards about, like, why do they just say each other's names like half the movie?
All the time.
It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Rose says Jack more than Jack says Rose, which I was shocked by. I thought it was flipped. Rose says Jack 80 times, and Jack says Rose 50 times.
Holy buckets.
Jack. There's a Jack.
That is a lot.
It's ridiculous.
Great ear on you. I noticed it this time because I had already found that review and I thought, oh, that's probably spot on.
Uh-huh.
And then I heard it for the first time watching it last night.
Yeah.
But did not occur to me before that. And so Cameron, his piece is like, well, oh gosh, I didn't write down this quote exactly, but it was something about how, sometimes like I think we expect too much out of like scripts and like, is it kind of like
Such a cop out.
I don't-
What a cop out
yeah,
answer.
he's like we want all this like witty repartee between the characters, and I'm just trying to like tell the story, and like it's simple. It's a simple love story.
Okay.
Like he just was very on the defensive about like his writing, because obviously it's his writing, so he
Yeah.
can't like blame anybody for the lack of interesting dialogue.
Here's the thing, though. He sucked as a scriptwriter. This script is garbage.
Yeah.
I'm going to go that far. This is a
Whoa.
garbage script.
Okay.
The movie's not garbage.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. The script is trash.
Yeah.
It is so stupidly written. Like, characters, the way they talk to each other, they either are just stereotypes or like they didn't see real humans, like from the words that they were saying. I saw actors trying to combat a script and make relationships and interesting dynamics between themselves, even though the script was literally trying to cut the legs out from under them. And then there are moments with like Leo and Kate, they have like a tension-filled scene up on the deck before they start to fall in love, where they go on a walk and then they have this fight randomly in the walk. It's very like Mimi and Roger from Rent. Like they have a fight out of nowhere that's like an argument, and I think it's supposed to show like, their dynamics from the classes, like they're not connected because she's first class and he's third. And it's so poorly written. This whole scene is when they're walking around on the deck before he shows the painting of all the boobs, and I was just like, this scene is atrocious. Like the acting isn't bad, like the actors are trying to combat it,
Sure.
but this writing is god freaking awful. It was incredible. I actually did not expect that.
Yeah.
I thought this movie, pretty sure, wins Best Picture. Like, I just thought, the writing won't be that bad. And the writing was horrible. And then you have all these moments of like scenes between people that you don't care about, and their dialogue is terrible too. Just the dialogue throughout is really bad. It's poor.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as to say atroce, but boy, did I hear the names. Jack, no,
Rose,
Jack.
Rose.
Yeah, 'cause
Rose.
the part of me feels like Cameron too is one of those like word perfect directors too, and so he wanted I don't know that the actors could have like
Vamped her or done anything?
left a Jack out. Like
Yeah.
if you wanted to, I think they had to be word perfect. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know that to be a fact, but
Oh,
it
really?
feels
I
that
felt like
way.
the Jackson Roses were like, okay, so you guys are searching for each other. Just keep yelling each other's names and stuff, or keep ad-libbing. And I almost thought the actors probably were like, I'm just going to keep repeating your name. Like, Jack,
Yeah,
Jack.
I don't want to go. I'm gonna get yelled at if I say anything
If
else.
I say anything that's out of character. And we've got water flowing all over us. So, like, I don't want to reset,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Now, here's a moment that I love, though.
Okay.
The first kiss moment when they're flying through the air at the bow of the ship.
Yes, the famous bow.
That is awesome. It is so romantic.
Yes.
The sky and how much
Yes.
wind is going on all around them, and how the boat's going through the ocean, and the way that their positions are, like with the arms out. That is, I understand why everybody talks about that iconic moment, because
Oh,
it
yeah.
truly deserves to be mentioned as one of the most iconic moments.
It is
of
a
film.
beautiful moment. You
It's
had
incredible.
actually mentioned that like, the beautiful CGI sky. That sky is not CGI.
Yeah?
That was the real sunset.
When did I mention CGI sky?
When that scene happened, like,
Oh,
look
last
that-
night?
You said, look at that beautiful CGI sky. And I was like,
That sounds
I don't
like
think
me.
so, but it's not. In fact, it happened, and Cameron said, like, all of a sudden Kate was like, now.
Yeah.
And like Leo's like running up to they're trying to like, get it, like, it's now's the
Sure,
lighting. So
yep.
they had to like try to like rush to get it in, because they had just had night after night of it just not like panning out, but the sky just like parted enough, and then the orange came and it was
Yep.
like, let's go. But then all the makeup and all the takes, it's
Sure.
just craziness. But I'm glad you loved that beautiful, beautiful scene.
Yep. Now, the beauty of losing your virginity in a car was also pretty magical.
So it's interesting that you think that she was a virgin, because there's
Oh.
some dialogue with Billy Zane if you listen to
Yeah,
it.
yep.
He's like, I thought you would come to me last night.
Oh, he does
and
say
she
that.
said, no, I was tired. And then there's a later part where he's like, you are my wife, if not in practice, if in, or something like that. So I heard that for the
okay.
first time. I thought like, I think
That's cool.
I think they have sex.
Wow. That's a good script.
That is interesting. I picked up something from
Oh,
that.
that's cool.
So I had always, until this moment, I had always thought that was at least her first time, obviously, but I don't know that it was.
Okay. Well, that is interesting.
And it kind of makes her and Billy Zane's relationship different too. You know, I think 'cause that's a pretty big rule to break for the upper classes at that point.
Yep.
To have premarital relations. So I don't know, but maybe it also is all the more reason for him to be so crazy about her. Like, if this was just some gal that you hadn't slept with and you weren't in love with, then like, why are you going to the ends of the earth to be with her? You know, why don't you be like, you don't want to be with me? Get lost. You're poor. You're gonna be
Sure.
poor.
Yeah.
But I know it's an ego thing too. But
Yeah, I thought it was more ego driven than anything else.
sure.
Do you want to talk about Our Dogs, the last 10% of a movie, whether it is an hour and a half movie, a half-hour episode, 45-minute episode, or a 3-hour gigantic epic like Titanic? No matter what, it's the last 10%. Our dogs will be good 90% of the movie. And then they just go freaking crazy. They have to go to the bathroom.
I feel it.
They
feel it.
Penny got zoomies. Then Giz kept jumping down and like not relaxing, and it ruins the end of all movies.
Yeah.
They're movie enders, ruiners. Movie
ender ruiners.
movie ender ruiners.
Yeah, you said it right.
I said what I said, and I stick by
I
it.
heard you.
Movie ender ruiners. Penny and Giz.
Yeah. I don't know why they know. They always know.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this movie's wrapping up. It's time to get crazy.
Time to get wild.
Yeah, and then Rach gets talkative too. Rach is talking while the dialogue, while she's on the door and Jack's in the water, and they're saying like things like, "Yeah, you're gonna be fine. You just promised you're never gonna forgive me." All this stuff, and Rach is like, "Yeah, so living with this guy right now, Big Gizzy, get up here, come here, Patty, 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 Patty." Like everybody, I'm gonna freak out.
And in my head, I thought, oh, that's right. This isn't something that you've seen.
I saw
like
one
100
time.
times. So you're actually really trying to listen to this, and I know this part.
I'm trying to
by
listen to the
heart.
bad dialogue to see if it gets better.
Did it?
Moderately.
All right. Should we speak awards? Or
Yeah,
do you have
let's
other
do it.
things you want to talk?
No, that's pretty much it.
All right. Let's jump in. Awards. So, Ty,
Mm-hmm.
how many Oscars do you think it was nommed for?
I'm gonna say it was a crazy amount, like 11 or 12.
It was nommed for 14 Oscars.
Okay.
And it won
Yep.
11 of them.
Wow.
So you were right with the wins.
Yep.
Yeah. I shall name them for you.
Yes.
Or I shall make you name them.
Well, I know it won Best Picture. I'm
Best
sure he won Best Director.
Picture, director,
And then everything effects.
art
wise.
director, cinematography, visual
Yeah.
effects, editing, costume, sound editing, score, original song.
Mm-hmm.
The only things that lost were Kate Winslet lost. She was nommed
Okay.
for Best Actress. And I believe Older Rose was also nominated. I believe
What?
she lost as well.
She read off the page.
She was so old, and she was the oldest to be nominated at that time ever. And then makeup. Makeup also lost. But
Oh, okay.
again, it's makeup.
Yeah.
Nothing
The costumes
crazy.
are really cool.
Costumes were incredible.
Yeah. I was actually almost more impressed with the costumes than I was the set stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You think, like, it probably took just as much time to
Mm-hmm.
do some of that. So this then gets tied for most Oscars won with, we talked about this movie much earlier. I said,
Ben-Hur.
remember this one? Ben-Hur, you got it. And then-
Ben-Hur, have you ever seen that movie?
I've not seen it.
Ben-Hur is really good the first 2/3, and then it gets really Jesus-y in the last
Oh,
third.
okay.
And not that I don't love Jesus, but it's like, we're getting a little weird. We're getting a little preachy right now.
All right. And then there's another movie that has since this film come out and also has won 11 Oscars.
Return of the King,
Yes. Well done.
because that is the best movie of all time.
All time.
It's tied with Fellowship and with Two Towers.
I'm not going to talk about Globes because,
Who
Yeah, it
cares?
won the one picture, director, score, song. There you go. It won a Grammy, obviously, for Song of the Year and Song for a Movie.
Okay.
Song of the Year, that's kind of interesting.
That's wild. That's
yeah.
a big win.
But you think about this song, it's like, yeah, what other song was it going to be?
Casey
it
and JoJo?
It could have been Wannabe. It was 97. Wasn't Spice Girls Wannabe 97?
Oh, maybe.
Or maybe
Ooh.
that was fourth grade. I'm mixing
Yeah,
it
it
up.
might have been a year off.
Yeah. And at this time, and actually maybe it still is, but it is the best-selling primarily orchestral soundtrack of all time.
Okay.
It says primarily, so I
Because it
think
has
that's very
the
unique.
Celine
It's got
thing
the Celine,
in it, I'm sure.
and yeah, people bought the CD so they could have the Celine Dion song.
Mm-hmm.
My friend who bought the VHS also had the CD. So anytime I wanted to like get into this Rose and Jack mode, I had to go to her house, and then we could listen to it or watch it.
So CDs sometimes will come with 2 CDs as well. I wonder if this was a 2-discer for the soundtrack as well.
That's a good question, and I would say probably because they were orchestrations, and those can be like 15 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you have enough
But they
of them,
replayed a lot of them though too.
yeah, that's
They
true.
would just like play certain themes over and over again.
I don't remember there being 2, so I'll say this one was just a 1, but
Okay.
you bring up a very interesting question. So budget, we had already talked about the 200 million.
mil.
At the time being the most expensive film made to date. Currently, it has been dethroned by a film, an unexpected film that has made 378 million. Not made,
Are we talking
but
about profits or expenses?
sorry, expenses. An expensive movie has come along since then. Several movies have been more expensive. All the
Sure.
Avenger movies
Yeah, I was gonna say Avengers.
are all
Yep.
more expensive, but the most expensive movie of all time is actually, I can't even say it with a straight face, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
Is that the 4th one?
I have no idea.
I think so.
I
That
have
must
no
be the newest
idea.
one, which did terrible.
378 million.
Oh, gross.
Ooh.
Gross. Pirates movies. Did you know they want to make more of them? And they're talking about still casting Johnny Depp even after all this mess? Like
Well,
they ever heard and
now
stuff?
they're like, I guess he's okay.
Ugh,
I guess he's
Gross.
revamped. So.
Get Depp out of here. He's the worst.
This movie was supposed to be a summer blockbuster, but Cameron needed more time, and he was not ready to let it go yet. So they actually ended up releasing it in December. So they were a bit
okay.
late to the game there.
Yep.
Opening weekend in the U.S., 28 million. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
Gotta keep plugging away.
Wow.
We're still sweating.
That's
We're-
a slow start.
It becomes kind of a word of mouth movie,
I
and
could
then
totally see
really
that with this
by
one.
the time Valentine's Day comes around, it has its biggest week it's
Yep.
ever had yet, because people are coming back to it. They're
Yep.
seeing it multiple times.
That's the thing I remember is people seeing it 2 or 3 times.
Yes.
And then
yeah.
I think it got to the point where I hear everybody saw it like at least twice. That I was like, Mom, we should probably go see this.
Yeah.
I want to say we saw it like in February or March.
Did you go for Valentine's Day
I
with
think we
your
were
mama?
very late. Yeah,
Very
probably.
romantic
It was like
movie.
it was winter. I know that, which makes sense because it came out in December. But yeah,
I remember my Aunt Bev was living with us at the time, and I think for Valentine's Day, she and her boyfriend at the time went to it, and I was so jealous. It's like, I want to go. I won't even sit with you. Can I sit behind you? Can I sit somewhere else?
nope.
Nope, it's rated R. Can't
Maybe
go.
say your sisters.
I had to watch it in secret at my friend's house.
Oh, secret viewings.
Yeah, it's rated R. I was supposed to watch
it's like
it.
me in Interview with the Vampire. Secret viewings.
Now that is extra secret. That's
Yeah.
naughty. This one, this was a cultural phenomenon. I had to watch it.
Interview with
Everybody
the
knew
Vampire
about it.
was too. Cultural phenomenon. Have you ever seen a
Cultural
movie with
phenomenon.
Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise in it and Antonio Banderas?
Not
It's the
since.
hottest movie on the
Not
planet.
since. This movie is the first of its kind to reach $1 billion.
Wow.
It was the first to do that. At that time, making it the highest grossing film of all time, beating Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
It was not dethroned until 2010 with this other James Cameron masterpiece.
Avatar.
You got it. Avatar dethrones.
Yep.
James Cameron dethrones himself as far as most movies ever made.
Yeah.
It ends up making about $2 billion gross,
Mm-hmm.
which is still an incredible amount.
And
of
James
money.
Cameron got paid for it because the studio didn't take him up on that offer.
I don't think they did. I
Okay.
didn't hear how that resolved itself because I
Alright.
think they thought that was pretty lame. Like, there's no way we're making this back, but they did. One of the reasons why it ended up making so much money, and you kind of alluded to this, is because it was in the theaters for so long.
Yeah.
It didn't come out of the theaters until October
Oh,
of the following of the
jeez.
year.
It feels
So
like Top
December
Gun's been in there a long time.
to October.
From May to August, but it's starting to show up on streaming now, which means it's almost done.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's only like 4 months.
Yeah.
This movie did freaking
I know.
9 months.
It kind
10
of pulls like a
months.
big fat Greek wedding thing where it's in there for so long. They had to end up adding midnight showings so that way they could get 4 showings in a day
Oh, okay.
of it. And
Oh, you want to get done till like 3:30
I
in the
know,
morning.
I know. It's amazing, isn't it? Wouldn't that be a blast?
No, that'd be terrible. You don't want to watch like a chick flick disaster movie. Oh,
This is not a chick flick. How dare
this
you,
movie,
sir?
first half, romantic movie, second half disaster film. There's two movies,
you can just
VHS
watch
1
it by
and VHS 2.
The movie theaters watched it so much, had it on repeat, that they had to get extra reels because they were worn out. So the production companies had to send out replacements by the time this was all said and done. It actually also was the first movie to come out on VHS while it was still in the theaters. It came out on VHS in September. So that's how long your girl had to wait to see this movie.
Wow.
That's a long time.
You're in 6th grade now.
Yeah, I didn't see it till 6th grade.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, poor me.
You had already gone through like all the puberty talk and everything at that point. And so
Yeah.
like you had your first boyfriend.
It's incredible.
And so you were way late to the game.
I felt robbed.
Yeah. You didn't even know what love is.
Yeah, absolutely. In 2012, they had a 3D version that came out, and it made $300 million.
You know what I found out? In 2010, I think it is, Titanic 2 came out.
What?
No joke. This is a real story.
What the
This
heck
isn't
is
a joke.
Titanic 2?
It's make fun of the movie Titanic. It's a spoof movie called Titanic 2.
I
Came out in
didn't do
2010.
any research on
It did
this.
terrible, and that's all I know about it.
That's all you know?
Yep.
One of the big corrections for the 3D version, someone had written in and said that the night sky was inaccurate, and that's not what it would have looked like on that night back in the day.
Oh, because it was cloudy or something instead of the stars?
No, I think it was stars, but they said that the star alignment was wrong. Like,
Oh, jeez.
yeah, it was one a-hole to another, and so like James Cameron's like, well, fine, then I'll just, why don't you send me the right one and I'll update it, and so he updated it.
That's funny that he'd update that, but he wouldn't address the door issue.
No.
The floating on the door.
No.
He's like, oh no, I'm not
No,
gonna
because
fix
you're
that.
remastering it. You're not reshooting it.
I know, but still, it's like he'll update the star map, but he
Yeah.
won't like hear any conversations
you probably
about
coulda,
other
like,
stuff.
You probably could have like CGI'd half that door off.
Yeah.
Just let her feet hang there. Good news. It will return
Why?
in February 2023.
Why?
That's this year. It's going to be remastered in 3D 4K rendered for the 25th anniversary.
You know,
And we're going to it
you
in
know,
the theater.
We'll never see it in 3D because I get nauseous for 3D
no.
movies.
Oh, it is 3D.
Yeah,
oh, no,
you just said it's 3D.
babe. Oh, no, it is. But it's for Valentine's Day.
Sorry, girl, not
I've
happening.
never seen it in the theater.
No, it's fine. You'll be fine.
Oh, no. I'll
Yeah.
have to go with someone else.
Yeah, you will.
Oh, no.
Go with your other boyfriends. They'll enjoy it.
Can't believe you're not going to take me up on that.
No way. I'm going to My Bloody Valentine in the next theater. That's been remastered as well.
Also 3D.
Also
Very
3D,
cool.
but I'll fake it. I'll do that one.
Yeah, you'll be
The
okay in that
limbs
one.
flying at my
Gross,
face.
Gross. Can I give you the critics' consensus? Are
Yep.
you ready?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know what this means. A mostly unqualified triumph for James Cameron, who offers a dizzying blend of spectacular visuals and old-fashioned melodrama.
Mm-hmm.
87%.
Okay.
Audience?
93?
69%.
Oh, Wade dropped. Okay.
Yeah, it went drop. You have to remember, I mean, maybe this wasn't at the time, but for a while, I would say even like 1 or 2 years post-Titanic, it was very popular to hate Titanic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it was, like people made fun of it pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been until recently where people are coming back around and saying, no, like legit though, like it's a good movie. Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. But it was like very like cool to hate on it for a while.
Oh no, I'm with the cool crowd.
You're a cool kid.
Oh, making
You're gonna
fun of
hate on
it
it.
and hating on the script and stuff.
No,
Dang.
That's an actual like legit critique though. That's a great critique.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
like let's elevate your script a little bit. Why are they just saying each other's names? We don't have anything else that they can say to each other.
Mhm.
Like it's that surface level for them.
Yeah.
They just say their names. That's it. Robert Ebert says it is flawlessly crafted, intelligently constructed, strongly acted, and spellbinding. Movies like this are not merely difficult to make at all, but almost impossible to make well. Another critic says, a great film for 15-year-old girls. And I would say, don't forget the 10-year-olds. We had a great time too. Actually, 11 when I saw it.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. Wow. We did it. I got through everything I needed to tell you.
Yeah.
Incredible.
There's so much to digest.
I'm so ready.
So this movie, it was a spectacle. Like,
Yeah.
the
Yes.
work and the craftsmanship that went into it is truly astounding. So I want to start off just by like making note of that.
I hear you.
Like beautiful work that was done in the art departments.
Great filmmaking.
Costuming, everything like that. And showing an accurate representation of the boat going down. That was super cool.
Yeah.
All right, here's what I have. VHS 1 is a poorly written but charmingly acted love story that will trick you into thinking that Leo is a good actor and Kate is on her way to being tier 1. VHS 2 is literally an hour of boat creaks, twinkling lights, and a slow roll to the bottom of the ocean that is yawn-inducing. This movie needed Rach in the editor's room and me telling Cameron and the boys it's time to make this boat swim with the fishes. 58%. This is a rotten movie for me.
Got it.
It is tied with Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, interesting.
So my big problems with the script and some of
Yeah,
the
that's valid.
performances, and it's a CGI spectacle that I think is like a marvel to watch, but it's not a great movie. It's just an okay movie.
Yeah.
So that's where
That's fair.
I let it lie.
Let it lie with the fishes.
In the bottom of the ocean. It's an important movie that everybody should see, though.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
you have to see it, but it's okay if you don't like it.
It's definitely okay if you don't like it.
Yeah.
But it
has
I would
its
agree.
warts.
It's still an incredible film, but
Yeah.
you have to. And I think it's okay to come at it with like a fresh eye and fresh perspective. Like, oh yeah, actually, you guys have both been better actors.
They
in it.
have
and you've
been,
had
yeah.
you've had better material.
Well, Leo might not have gotten better. I know you're gonna all get so mad at me. I'm sorry, in The Revenant, he was not better than this.
I does not like Leo. Let's just
Leo,
put that out there.
He just screams for all of his acting choices. Every role should have been played by Matt Damon that he's ever gotten. And I just think that this might have been my favorite Leo performance.
Wow, interesting. Because I was watching
or
it and
Gilbert
I was
Grape?
thinking like, oh yeah, he's not that great in it.
Yeah.
Gosh, he is so darn cute, but he is not great in this.
Well, I mean, what's his best movie?
I don't know. But it's
Okay.
not this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not Catch Me If You Can. It's not Aviator. It's not Blood Diamond. I'd say he's weaker in all those movies besides this one compared to this one.
Could be.
Maybe The Beach. And Kate Winslet is about to be a superstar. So, like,
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She's
But
at the
even-
beginning, you can tell.
I mean, even if I think back to like Sense and Sensibility,
She's
which
better
I've
in
seen,
Sense.
and what I've seen of her in the Hamlet, she's great in that too.
Yeah,
So part
both
of me
those,
is like,
she's way better. Yep.
yeah. But again, I think she's got better source material.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
there's
Her
a part of
dialogue,
it.
her script is much better.
Yeah.
Yep.
One would say that Jane Austen and Billy Shakespeare are better writers than James Cameron. I will be the first to say that on air. I
Oh
will
my
say it very
gosh.
confidently.
We
so.
saw a shirt today that I absolutely loved, and it was Shakespeare's face, and it says, "This stuff writes itself." It's so good. So good. Actually, it was "This shit writes itself."
Yeah.
Wasn't it? I think if it didn't have the S word on it, I would definitely buy it. Like, it's that funny, but I don't want to wear a shirt around that says the S word. You know?
The S
Run
word.
into the students.
Well, yeah, you can't wear it to school, but you could probably wear it to college.
This shit writes
College
itself.
school. Well, I have this movie in between two giants. I've got it just below Godfather Part 1
Okay.
And-
Whoa, that's gonna be high.
and just above When Harry Met Sally.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can I take a guess on what your score is?
Sure.
88%.
Are you looking at my screen?
No, I just know that Terminator was a 90% for you. That's what I
Holy
know.
buckets.
I don't know what When Harry Met Sally
You
is.
got it on the nose. 88%. That's
Hot
incredible.
digging it down.
Well done, you.
That's crazy high.
That's what the critics say. That's what I say too.
Yeah.
So I'm in lockstep. Again, it has obviously its faults, but I can't take away from how this movie changed my life. I am forever changed by it. The topic of Titanic is one that I can't explain my weird fascination with it. But I went through it, and honestly, doing all of the research for this, I was right back in it. I was 12 again, and I was like, yeah, Titanic, let's learn about this. This is crazy.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, there's other things at play that are
Yeah.
boosting that score for me.
Uh-huh.
Most of it, the nostalgia of it, and just loving being alive in 97 and being in fifth grade.
Oh, you
Fifth
love
and
fifth
sixth
grade? That was a great year for
Fifth
you?
and sixth grade, great years.
Oh, those are not good years for me.
But
Fifth
just
grade
like
especially
thinking
is
back
lousy.
to like culture at that time, like we had Spice Girls, we had boy bands. Like,
No,
it was
boy
just-
bands were sixth grade. We weren't really there yet.
Well, I saw that in sixth grade, so
Oh,
for me,
okay, yeah.
I came into myself very quickly.
See, I had nothing
all
in
of
fifth
the
grade.
stirrings.
No boy bands, Spice Girls. I had listened to that CD too much, and I was ready to move on.
Hmm.
Like, what did I have? I had nothing. nothing in 5th
I
grade.
don't know. I had just some great memes. And so, yeah, some great happy memes with like me and my childhood best friend watching this
And
film.
your butterflies in your tummy.
And my butterflies in my tum. So you'll never forget your first butterflies in your tum.
Yeah.
That's what this was for me.
Okay.
So there
Wowza.
you have it. 88%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
This
I feel
is
great.
this is for sure a season where we've been the most away from each other for every score.
I know.
Guaranteed.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should do the math on
We
it.
should do it, but I'm almost positive. It's crazy. Our point differential is probably like a 30-point differential on average.
I think a part of it is we're picking some like you like it or you don't movies.
Yeah.
Like some pretty bold choices in that. Versus I think before there were movies that, oh, you have to see this. I love this movie. You have to see this movie.
Yep.
And now I'm feeling like this would be a good one to throw your way. This will be fun to hear you talk
Oh my
about.
gosh.
So part of it could be like our source material.
Yeah. Yep. Wow.
There
Hey,
it is.
season 5 in the
Oh,
books.
Ty, we finished.
That's so crazy.
Is this a 3-hour episode?
This is a long one.
Woo.
This is a very long one.
All right. Thanks. Hey, if you guys stayed with us this long, or if you're obviously breaking it up into parts like a normal person, thanks so much for sticking with us. Not this episode, but every episode.
Yeah.
We really appreciate. It means everything to
It
us.
really does.
Yeah.
This started off as just like a fun little goofy thing that we decided to do and has really morphed into like something really cool that like we found a little bit of an audience for, and we're going to keep pumping them out as much as we enjoy doing them. And so hopefully you enjoy listening to them as well.
Yeah.
Take 2 seconds to rate and review in the off season. We'd love your help on Spotify. They make it so easy. Just type in Summers Off and then click the little star button right next to our name. It'll take you 2 seconds. And it's awesome. So we'd appreciate it there. And yeah, Halloween.
Halloween.
All
I
right.
guess we'll see you guys soon. Have a great fall.
Woo! I think it's a crock of horse poo that you get to wear sweater vests again. And here I am, having donated my last sweater vest when you made me get rid of it. And here you are bringing sweater vests home like, oh, yay, this is so fun. And I am stuck sweater vestless. The core of my body needs more warmth, and I have nothing to do the trick.